She shouldn't have been there. This lady shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been there, man. Check it out.
Who was doing what was right. She was fighting for her immigrant neighbors, just as so many of us have been. And now she's gone! We cannot let this scare us into stopping our own operations of doing patrols, of helping our community, of doing everything in our power to support the immigrants in our community who are under such a brutal siege in the United States.
Thanks for joining in.
They clearly wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there. Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah, that was her goal.
I saw the video on numerous occasions, and seeing what transpired from a lawful perspective, as it pertains to a law enforcement official, don't expect him to be prosecuted. He was completely justified. From a humanitarian perspective, however,
motion detected at the GNT.
Why did you have to do that? If you could move out of the way, that means you could have shot the tires.
Here we go with the bullshit.
Got a few feet away after you shot the tires, and if you were unsuccessful in doing that, you could have got it down the road. You didn't have to do that. She wasn't driving down the road coming at you 90 miles an hour. She was parked in the middle of the street.
She should have been there, Stephen A.
And rather than get out the car, she wrongfully tried to drive off and wrongfully disregarded law enforcement official, which is exactly what ICE is. So we got to talk about the left-wing outrage that is currently building over their new George Floyd.
Just want to tell folks what we're looking at here. This is neighboring St. Paul, where there are clashes taking place right now. Live pictures. Protesters are clashing with what appears to be ICE agents, and it appears that the protesters are trying to enter a federal building, and they are.
Well, right now these images obviously are police officers are surrounding and keeping. Our officers are keeping them on the ground. John?
Yeah, we will keep an eye on this, but clearly a heated clash here. And this has been a concern all along. Minneapolis and St. Paul, right across the river, have been a bit of a powder keg. So we know that, of course, is where George Floyd was killed in 2020. There's been ICE operations stepped up in recent weeks. The Trump administration has really levied accusations about fraud, singling out the Somali community in recent days. And now we are seeing these significant protests the day after the shooting.
Okay, they have no use for George Floyd anymore. They're throwing him away, right? They're saying, listen, we don't need him anymore. We found a liberal white woman, right? A liberal white activist who was shot and killed by ICE agents after she tried to run over ICE agents. And this is, clear as day on the video. But for whatever reason, reality nowadays is determined by your political ideology, okay? You can have two people watch the same video. They have two different political ideologies, and because they have two different political ideologies, they come to different conclusions about what happened in the video, even though it is plain as day what happened in the video. But apparently we live in a world where reality is determined by your political ideology, because leftists are swearing up and down.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining in.
Was murdered, okay, and that ICE agents were not under any type of imminent danger or threat or anything like that. That the ICE agent just murdered this woman in cold blood, and he deserves to go to prison. Take a look.
Forced their way into her car. There's 3 ICE agents here, one right by her door, one the front left of the vehicle, and one standing about 8 feet away, right? As she turns to leave, the officer that's the furthest away from us here starts shooting through the windshield at her face.
No! Shit!
Right there.
Oh my fucking God!
That's murder.
What the fuck?
She's dead. She's dead. So I want you to watch it again.
No! Shit! Oh my God!
Now, ICE released a statement which is straight out of fucking Pravda. ICE released a statement which could have been released from fucking Hermann Göring in Nazi Germany. ICE said, "Oh, this aggressive woman made us fear for our lives, and she was using her car as a deadly weapon." Took him after the ICE agents. You just saw the video. You just saw the video with your own two eyes. Is that your assessment of this? One more time, I'm going to play it here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to mute the audio, and I'm going to slow it down as I talk here. The fact that they're bothering to try to say that, maybe they probably had no idea there was actually the whole thing was recorded. They probably had no idea. Well, now it's out there. Now you know these lying thug gangsters were doing exactly that. They were lying. They're full of shit. They're trying to protect their asses. That vehicle was in no way, shape, or form speeding in an officer to try to kill him. This is murder. That officer should be locked up for life. And I hesitate at even calling this ICE officer an officer. They're
very alarming and devastating actions by ICE under Trump's fascist regime have taken place in Minneapolis. ICE agents have shot a protester in the face for no reason whatsoever. And then this ICE agent just walks away, doesn't see if she's okay, gets in a car and leaves. Then the president of the United States gets on his idiotic social media website and says that this guy's in the hospital, which are all lies. And this is a George Floyd moment. This administration has gone too far. They are breaking every aspect of our country, and now they're shooting people. These little dick energy ICE agents that are recruited by these broken, imbecilic psychos like Kristi Noem and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller. And I want to play you guys this clip in slow motion, and I'll describe it for any of you that happen to be listening.
Thanks for joining in. I appreciate you guys.
She is in the car. There's ICE agents surrounding the car. She backs up to get away from them. She turns her wheels all the way to the right. Officer shoots her 3-4 times in the face, kills her, murders her point blank.
Even the photos of the bullet hole in the windshield present a problem for ICE's version of events. There are two glaring issues with this. Number one, and most obviously, there is only one bullet hole
She's definitely more
in that windshield, which corroborates the
what's
version
up, Critical?
I laid out in my previous video where I went frame by frame.
You everywhere,
Two
Critical, I
of the
see.
shots were fired from the side through the open driver's side window, obviously negating any claims of self-defense for those two shots, since he could not claim to have believed he was in any danger once he was to the side of the car. Number two, look at the position of the bullet hole in the windshield. Now, I'm not someone who likes to act like you can get all possible relevant information from a photo or two, but there is some basic ballistics information we can glean from this. The earliest witness report stated that Renee Nicole Good was shot, quote, in the face. Now, I don't believe that this has publicly been confirmed by any sort of medical examiner. However, based on the footage of the incident and the blood on the airbags, it doesn't seem too far-fetched.
How you doing?
The bullet hole in the windshield is pretty notably down in the corner on the driver's side of the windshield. So if that first bullet actually hit her, especially anywhere in the face or neck region,
It's another angry, y'all. It should have been your home.
I'm not mad, boy. Show your face. I'm not mad. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen.
Why is her car there? She should have been at home. She don't even live there. She don't live there.
Go ahead. Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
And then she told her to drive. She told her to drive. The partner told her to drive. That's crazy.
and it would have actually had to have come in at quite an angle. Specifically, it would have had to have been angled pretty acutely from the side and below. Starting to see the issue here. The operative and most important piece here being from the side. Is it possible that that first bullet came more straight on and he was more in front of the vehicle? Sure. But that would mean that that was probably not the bullet that killed her. That would mean that instead she would have been killed by one of the shots fired from the side of the vehicle through the open driver's seat window, which, again, you're starting to see the issue here. Best case scenario for that ICE officer, it was that first shot that actually struck and killed her. But if in fact it was that first shot, that would actually prove that he was pretty far off to the side by the time he pulled the trigger. I'm excited to see what the forensics show. Are you? Rest in peace, Renee Nicole Good.
And what's more infuriating is like the bullshit story that they're trying to run and turn around. Like, you can't lie on video evidence. I'm so embarrassed to even say that I'm so embarrassed that I'm even from the same state as that woman, and you guys know who I'm talking about. I just hate it here. I hate the world that we're living in, that my kids are having to grow up in. There's like no sense of humanity. I have no words. Like, I can't even wrap my head around 98% of the shit that's going on in this world.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And it really is unfortunate, right? This is the unfortunate state of politics, which is that reality is determined by political ideology, right? In the ideal world, we should all be able to see a video that objectively shows the reality.
She should have stayed at home with her kids, her and her partner. That's crazy, y'all. Like and subscribe. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. Should never happen. She shouldn't have been there.
He was being run over, right? Now, whether or not that was her intention, okay, we don't know. But it doesn't matter, right? None of that stuff matters. A lot of the stuff these leftists are saying, it doesn't matter. What matters is that in that moment, did that officer have a reasonable belief that he was in danger, okay? That his life was in danger.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
The objective answer to that question is yes, okay? And that is based on multiple video angles. And probably the most damning one I'm going to show you here shows that, yes, the officer was actively being run over had he not moved out of the way. It doesn't matter if he moved out of the way. It doesn't matter if he had the ability to move out of the way. The fact is that he was actively being run over. Had he not moved out of the way, he would have been run over, okay? So let's actually play this video. Oh, you see that? You see this? Okay, look at this. This officer right here. Boom. That's it. The officer is actively being hit by the front of the vehicle. He was in front of the vehicle, which he has a right to be. This woman was not complying. She was blocking the road, okay, being an agent of chaos, sticking her nose in something that is none of her business, right? Gaslit by Democrat Party and liberal rhetoric, claiming ISIS Gestapo, trying to defend illegal immigrants. She should not have been there. She should not have been involved. But she got herself involved. ICE gave her lawful orders to stop, to open up her vehicle, to open up her door. She chose not to do that. She tried to back up, and then she tried to run off while the ICE agent was actively in front of her vehicle. Now, again, I don't know her intentions. Doesn't matter. Because in that moment, as you can see here on video, the ICE agent is being struck by the front of the vehicle. It doesn't matter if he was able to move out the way. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that he perceived this vehicle to be a deadly threat. That is reasonable. That is 100% reasonable. And because of that, at that moment, it now becomes self-defense to use deadly force. A vehicle is a deadly weapon, okay? Doesn't matter if you believe, but the officer, he moved out the way. He wasn't really hurt. He wasn't injured, right? None of that matters from a legal perspective. That's what these leftists don't understand. There's a difference between whether you think it's morally right versus whether it's legally justified. And in my opinion, I don't even think what he did was morally wrong, because this woman was using her vehicle, or he perceived her using her vehicle as a deadly threat. And on video, to me, it seems like in that split-second moment, I can totally see how a reasonable person would believe that, right? Would say, hey, this woman woman's trying to run me over. I got to defend myself. It is what it is. It is what it is.
She doesn't even live there. Why she's there? Her and her partner, why they there?
At the end of the day, I mean,
You cannot obstruct the law.
and that's the thing about
Period.
leftists that really pissed me off. Like in situations like this, where it's clearly the woman at fault, right? The victim is at fault for what
Her partner
happened to
told her, go
right?
drive.
They blame everybody else instead of her own actions. Why was she there? Why was she blocking traffic? Why was she obstructing?
Watching The View too many times.
I mean, she had multiple chances to avoid this happening. Multiple chances.
Watching the damn
The
View.
best thing she could have done is just not be there. It's none of her business. But see, what really pissed me off is that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated,
Everybody was
they tried to
laughing.
blame him. Oh, well, see, he should have been hateful. He should have been a racist. He should have been a bigot. So again, I want you guys to understand, when you are a conservative activist and you're simply expressing your political opinions, these people will bend over backwards to justify you being assassinated in front of the world to see, right? They will justify it. But if you are a woke activist, if you're a left-wing activist, obstructing law enforcement, not following orders, trying to run over law enforcement, they will go out of their way to come up with every excuse in the world for why it was wrong that this woman was shot and killed because of her actions. They come up with every single excuse. But if you are a conservative activist and you're just simply exercising your freedom of speech, they will justify you being assassinated. They will justify you losing your life. Not only will they justify it, they'll celebrate it. Right? They celebrate it as well too. They'll kiki and ha-ha about it and then, get mad when you say, hey, maybe you should celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk. Oh, you're attacking my free speech, right? But the guy that was killed for his free speech, apparently that's justified, right? They don't have a problem with that. So, this is the current state of our politics, guys. And it really is sad. It is sad that we can all watch the same video and see the same thing, and these people come to different conclusions about who's at fault here, when it is clear as day. And I'm taking my political bias out of it, right? I'm taking my conservative bias out of it. I'm not afraid to call balls and strikes when it comes to police and law enforcement. I'm not afraid to do that. If I felt like the ICE agent was wrong, I would say the ICE agent is wrong, right? But the ICE agent is not wrong. I cannot look at this video and say in any way that the ICE agent was not justified in what he did. This woman, again, whether intentionally or not, the ICE agent had a reasonable belief that his life was in danger. A vehicle, a multi-ton vehicle is a deadly weapon. I don't know if leftists understand that, right? But a multi-ton vehicle is a deadly weapon. And when you start speeding off towards an ICE agent, and again, he got hit clearly. Had he not moved out the way, right? Had he not react fast enough, he would have been run over. But again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that she tried to do it. Okay? That's what matters. And because of that, he was legally justified in what he did, in self-defense. But I'm going to tell you what this is. I know exactly what this is. Leftists can't admit the truth about this because admitting the truth means that, hey, maybe we should stop all these riots and protests against ICE, right? They cannot come out here and admit the truth about this because admitting the truth means that, hey, yeah, we're not justified in the stuff that we're doing against ICE. And yeah, we can be killed for doing that, right? But they don't want to admit that. They want the right to be able to do whatever they want.
How you doing, Tracker?
Without any consequences whatsoever.
Thanks for joining in.
They want to be able to obstruct ICE as much as possible with no consequences. This is why they're upset. This is why they're distorting reality, right? This is why they can see a video that plain as day shows that this woman is at fault and say, oh, the ICE agent is a murderer, right? And they'll come up with all these conspiracy theories and all these convoluted distortions of what happened in the video in order to make excuses for this woman because they want the ability to do this without any consequences, right? They want ICE to be neutered. They don't want ICE to be able to fight back against them. This is ICE fighting back. And they don't want that. They don't want to lose their lives participating in these riots and these protests. They want to be able to just do it unobstructed while they obstruct ICE. That is why they're distorting reality. When you understand that, you understand that these people are not acting in good faith. This is why they can watch a video like that and come to the wrong conclusion, right? That's why. because it's about protecting what they see as their ability to obstruct. Admitting that this woman was wrong sends a message to these protesters, these activists, that, hey, if you obstruct, this can happen to you, right? And ICE, they're not going to be punished for it. So that's why they want this ICE agent punished, right? Because if this ICE agent is actually punished and charged, what happens is that neuters ICE, right? And that gives them more power to obstruct, okay? To carry out their agenda. It's all about power for them. This is a power struggle. And that's why they're distorting reality. Because reality of what happened in this video is a threat to
that's true. Thanks for joining in.
To their agenda. So, that being said, Scott Jennings is going to give a reality check to the CNN panel who whined and crying about what happened here.
What's going on? Well, they're all fair questions and should all be part of a legitimate investigation. I think that's what the American people would expect. A lot of people witnessed this. There have been a lot of witnesses on television today. We played some. I saw another interview with another witness who said that this lady in the van was the leader of a convoy that was attempting to impede and obstruct the road where legitimate law enforcement operations were taking place. I would also like to know if that is true, because that's what an eyewitness has said. If that is true, I think one of the questions we have to ask is, why are people believing that it is okay to create vehicle convoys for the purpose of impeding federal law enforcement? My suspicion is it's because they've been told by politicians that it is their responsibility to do so. It is in fact a felony to obstruct federal law enforcement activities. If you don't like the immigration laws, that's a legitimate position, but you don't change laws by creating convoys to obstruct law enforcement officers. You call them
facts. And see, this is the thing. If you want to point the blame at somebody, point the blame at the gaslighters, the people who gaslit this woman into doing this, which led to her losing her life. Those are the people that are actually responsible. She was gaslit. This woman was radicalized. If she was actually participating in obstructing ICE, that is radicalism. Because only a radicalized person would do something like that. So she was radicalized. And the radicalizers are the ones that are responsible. You know? These leftists are saying, oh, she was a mother with, kids. I believe there's a story about how the father may have died before, something like that, and now the child's going to be an orphan. It's like, well, that's something she should have thought about before participating in this. She should have thought about her family situation. She should have thought about, hey, what can possibly happen if I end up obstructing ICE, right? If I get in the middle of an ICE operation, what could possibly happen to me, right? Those are decisions that humans have to make every single day. Every single decision that you make in life, you need to think about the second, third, and fourth order effects of what you're doing, okay? You got to think about, okay, well, what could possibly happen if I participate in this activity? When you try to obstruct law enforcement, any type of negative or confrontational interaction with a law enforcement official could end up with you losing your life, right? It's very simple. She should have thought about all of that before she decided to do what she did. But again, individual responsibility and accountability is a foreign concept to these leftists. Unless it's a Trump supporter, by the way, right? If it's a Trump supporter, then all of a sudden, hey, everything that happens to them is their fault, right? Even if it's, them being assassinated for their free speech.
Politicians and ask them to change the laws. Political vigilantism is getting people killed. This lady should not be dead. I hate it that she is dead, because this poor kid, as Anna said, is an orphan. I don't love in any way, shape, or form that someone is dead, but we have to ask ourselves hard questions about why people are putting themselves in these positions. And we've seen it all over the country.
They're Americans and they can't stand what they are seeing. I don't think it's.
Yeah, but it's not justified to obstruct law enforcement. You might not like it, but it doesn't mean it's justified. Not liking something does not mean that it's justified to obstruct law enforcement. I don't understand what these people don't understand about that. Just because you don't like something don't mean that you can obstruct.
You can impede a law enforcement officer.
No, but that wasn't the case on January 6th either. And they were pardoned. And just this week, they're marching down the street to the Capitol. Why are you shaking your head?
Because this cannot be your go-to.
But no, I'm not saying that.
On January 6th, Democrats said we're pro-law enforcement. Today they say they're Gestapo. Which is it?
And furthermore, on January 6th, when Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed by police as she was trying to get into the Capitol, they said that was justified, right? They said that was justified because she tried to get to it because of her actions. It was justified. This is what liberals and Democrats have argued. right? And the guy that shot her has not been charged. Okay, he has not been punished at all. And this is what I'm talking about. If it's a Trump supporter, well, it's the individual's fault. She should have done that. She should have known better, right? Than to try to break into the Capitol. Okay? This is the argument they made about Ashley Babbitt. But when it comes to this liberal activist obstructing ICE, law enforcement, right? Well, see, they should have shot her, even though she tried to use, a deadly weapon to run over one. They should have shot her, right? It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. These people are giant hypocrites. January 6th is not going to save these people, right? Every time they're losing an argument, it's always January 6th because they don't have anything else. They have nothing else. And January 6th is not even a good argument, especially in this situation right here, okay?
I will say the vast majority of Democrats are pro-law enforcement, and we believe that law enforcement...
Natalia, how you doing? She said she was fake married as white. Oh, wow.
Let me finish. I do not agree. Many Democrats, and the vast majority of them, are pro-law enforcement. They believe that law enforcement should actually get the training that they deserve and they need. Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on. Yes, I know. Let me tell you.
Stop implying that training.
In Minnesota,
He was dragged by a car last summer.
in Minnesota, blocks from where this woman was killed was the George Floyd shooting. What happened at the time is the Justice Department entered a consent decree with the Minneapolis Police Department wanting to provide those law enforcement officers training so something like that would never happen again. And Donald Trump's administration completely dismissed that matter. And so now Minneapolis law enforcement officials are not getting the training that they need. Democratic Party is pro-law enforcement. They were pro-law enforcement on January 6th. They didn't issue those pardons.
They're pro-law enforcement.
They're pro-law enforcement now. And
they called them Nazis.
Why isn't one rule for ICE? And why is it another rule for the Capitol Police for the Republican Party? Can you answer that question?
I have the same rule for all law enforcement. I think we should respect all law enforcement.
Has two rules.
You all have select one day a year you like the cops. The other 364 days you call them the Gestapo. That's the Democratic
position. That is not the Democratic position.
Yeah, Scott Jennings is 100% right, as per the usual, right? These people do not care about law enforcement. They don't support law enforcement. They hate law enforcement, especially immigration law enforcement. But what this really is about is power and control. That's what it's about. It's not about what's right, what's wrong. It's not about what's legally justified, what's not legally justified. Okay, it's not about anything except these people wanting to maintain their power and control and admitting that this officer's actions were legally justified, and that he actually did face an imminent threat. That this woman, whether intentionally or unintentionally, looks like she tried to run him over. Okay, admitting that weakens their agenda. It weakens their narrative. It kneecaps their power. Okay? That's what it does. And this is why they can't accept the truth, the reality of what happened here. The truth is dangerous to them. And this is why they're going out of their way to distort it as much as possible. Because, again, their agenda here is what really matters the most. Okay? So, you know what you guys think? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share. A Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Spider rolls, and not even real spiders. We're talking some deep fried soft shell crab on that bitch. We have the sheriff, Rochelle Bilal of Philadelphia, or as she says, and I'm not kidding, Philadelphia. Now, is that a mix between Philadelphia and falafel, or maybe Philadelphia and fallopian? But she says Philadelphia. I don't know about you, and I have experience in this, but I would like my leader, my law enforcement, the heads of law enforcement, to be able to pronounce the town that they preside over. Now, what I mean by I lived through this is I was living in California. I wasn't born here, but I was raised in California. Moved out here from Jackson, Mississippi when I was 4 months old. But I lived through Arnold Schwarzenegger as the governor twice, and he couldn't say California. California. No, sir, it's California. California. No. California. No, it's not California, it's California. Yeah, California. Ugh. So I lived through that. You want your leader to be able to say the name. TJ, the conservative hustler, 2001 says, JG, I want to send you some merch from my store, fam. Hey, I'll wear it. Shoot me an email, man. Jericho Green 2018 at gmail.com. No problem, man. Thank you for being here. That's right, Roger. Jamie. Ugh. Fucking annoy me so bad. Put my wife's cookie down now. California, I said it. But anyway, you have those turds who are, and here we go, copy and paste. You have the clip I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you 3 clips of Sheriff Shanae, as I call her. And the first clip,
right, she was a member of the ICE Watch. She was a leader of the ICE Watch. She left
you remember that? Say his
millions of miles away from home to go block ICE. She don't live over there.
Wrongfully killed Negro. Take the name out and insert whichever name you'd like to put in there. The latest one, and say that name. I think she's the first white lady whose name they want to be said. You didn't want to say Tony Tempa's name. He was a white guy killed in a similar fashion as George Floyd. Anyway, that's just stupid. Why did I even bring that up? But shout out to Oliver Mack, a.k.a. the right-wing angel on Instagram. That's my boy. Great at what he does. I get a lot of my stuff from his social media sites because he just puts it together so well, so digestible. But I shout him out for putting me onto the Sheriff Bro Shelby law story because it is going to blow your mind. It's going to give you flashbacks to sloppy Joe Biden where you hear him speak and go, how did he get this high up the food chain? Did he not do any oral sit-downs? Nobody heard him speak? Or somebody did hear him speak. And then they said, send him up anyway. Send him up the ladder anyway, up the chain. Yeah, Ashley Babbitt, say her name. They won't say her name. That's the wrong white. See, much like the black person, if you're white and you get killed by law enforcement, it has to line up. Now, this is a little bit different. This is ICE. So this is a little more wide open. This isn't like a city cop shooting, a black man. If you really want to get the real high value stuff, if you really want to get that pity currency, that emotional heartstring currency, it has to be a young black man in a white cop. Woo! So delicious. Now, if you really want to get paid, if you want to get the tens of $1 million payouts from the city, it's got to be a young black man and a white cop. Woo! They can smell it. That's like putting pheromones in the air. Don't you hunters squirt deer piss to bring the bucks? That's how you do it. You spray that pheromone in the air, that young black man in a white cop, a fucking boss hog. Here they come.
Jericho funny.
Put your ear to the ground. You hear the pitter patter of those ambulance chasers. Ben Crump, here he comes. Al Sharptongue, here he comes. Jesse Jackson, I don't know, is he dead? I haven't seen him in a while. But don't worry, they got a replacement. Jasmine Crockett will be out there, and I'll show you a video today where Jasmine Crockett gets emotional.
Thank you guys for joining in. Appreciate it. Happy Friday. Like and subscribe. Happy New Year.
Emotion. Also, big news. I think this is the biggest story. The children's required vaccine schedule dropped by a lot. And I want to talk about, I think it's four or five of the ones that are no longer recommended. It's basically up to you. And when I play this clip for you, you'll hear the disdain in their voice. Like, they're leaving this up to personal choice. You mean parents are going to decide what's put in their children's body? Ew. Gross. You parents don't know better than the state. what to do with your children. The state knows, just like Kamala said. These are our children. Kamala Harris, childless, barren womb. Kamala Harris says, these are our children.
She ain't got no kids herself.
No, they're not. Don't get away from my kids, and especially take Tim Walz with you.
Like and subscribe.
Anywhere near my
Like and subscribe.
Said, I wouldn't want him to watch my kids on TV. Definitely not Hunter Bautista. Says JG.
Thank you.
Minnesota Timberwolves in a moment of silence for her before the game yesterday. Also, some McDonald's in Minnesota posted no ICE entry and hired security guards and monitors. Stupid. Go ahead, McDonald's. Shoot yourself in the wallet, you dumbass. And of course, the Timberwolves will do something like that. They're part of the NBA. The NBA does nothing but virtue signal. Now,
Motion detected at the GNT1.
would they do a moment of silence for the white woman shot by one of those savage nigglets that they allowed to roam free in their city? Of course not. That white woman's life means nothing. But if it can be squeezed to get some drops of political capital out of it, then damn it, I want her face everywhere. The Amazing Wong, thank you. Where'd it go? There it is. Booyakasha. Thank you. He says, hola, JG. Renee Good, ex-brother-in-law, said she should have minded her own business. I saw that. He said, why was she down there? She had no business being down there. And I'll get to part of the reason that she was probably down there. But I thank you very much, the Amazing Wong. And the dude that you have is your profile pic there.
Thanks for joining in. Appreciate you guys.
My friend, shout out to my man Gabe.
That's crazy. She went down there on Dummy.
New comic coming out.
She been with her kids.
The Unstoppable Tyrus with Tyrus from Fox, from the Gutfeld show, wrestling fame. He did a comic book for him. It's awesome. It's coming out. I think he's putting a copy in the mail for me. I get an early copy to start reading with my son. That's awesome. My kid's excited. But I think it's done. He's going to start the crowdfunding pretty soon to do that. So if you've ever told yourself, man, I wish there was some top-notch, high-level entertainment out there for men, women, and children, here it is. I brought you to the water horse. Now drink up. But anyway, this dude, my friend Gabe told me that he has like a total like surfer dude. Like that's how he talks. Like, yeah, dude. But I've never heard this dude talk. Like only in movies where he's doing like a character. But I've never heard him talk like in an interview. And I don't want to. I feel like there's some kind of innocence will be robbed. I feel like it'll mess with my memories of, Big Trouble in Little China. Everything else this dude was in. But yeah, when he told me that, I was like, what? He sounds like that, but I don't want to see it. I want to see it. Hear it? Stay like it is in my mind. But you're not the only one who's very generous. John T, thank you very much. It's that DJ John T up there in Sweden, yeah. Thank you, man. He says, well, hello, Jericho. Greetings from Sweden, yeah. Finally, I get notification from my favorite channel. I'll tell Greta you're up now. Yeah, please do. Maybe we can set her straight. Maybe we can set her weird ass straight. But I'll tell you this. Probably the only good thing I've said about Greta Bugen is she lives what she talks. She might believe some crazy shit. She might put herself in positions to get attention on her, whatever. But that girl will sit on a boat and ride from like Sweden to fucking Iraq or some shit. She, steam powered this and that. So I'll give her that. But DJ John T, good to see you, man. Oh, thank you, YouTube Overlord, for notifying my followers. But yeah, the vaccine schedule being reduced, that's great.
I'm gonna get back to him. Let's go right here, right quick.
Learn a terrible lesson about this yesterday.
Look at this. People are getting arrested.
You gotta question the judgment of these individuals.
Yes, you do. Unless, of course, it's your full-time job. Do you have a job? Do you have a job? What? What? Oh! They admit it. That explains why these mobs are out here running
full speed away from federal agents they've just altercated with. These are classic Antifa tactics right here. Someone gets arrested by federal agents, it gets filmed, it makes its way on the internet. But what you don't see are the crimes this person committed that allowed them to get taken down in the first place. They're not just out there arresting everybody, they've singled this person out for a reason. They've got him surrounded for a reason. He's going into federal custody for a reason. And the reason he did all of this is because he's being paid, and you're supposed to think some average-looking guy who's outraged by the Trump administration in a red-orange jacket is now getting arrested, and that this could be any of us next.
Will not touch immigration. We arrested 2 illegal aliens from Somalia today on the streets of Minneapolis, both with significant and others had very long rap sheets. Where are the police arresting them? Or if the police do arrest them, why aren't they turning them over to ICE and Border Patrol? When you ask them that, they don't seem to have an answer, Laura.
Yeah, interesting.
Crazy.
Because they want everyone to think that the only people getting arrested are average Americans, when it turns out you've got to be a fugitive in the country illegally, and you've got to have a rap sheet to even be on ICE's radar.
What do you think about ICE's presence?
Yeah, what does Ilhan Omar think?
Yeah, I mean, ICE has been carrying out state-sanctioned violence in our cities. We've seen them
Get her out of here.
terrorize so many of citizens in the 5th District and across Minnesota. And that has tragically led to this.
No,
we all watched.
Those officers defended themselves.
And so it is not helpful for us to have ICE agents unlawfully just carrying out these ridiculous
She's so happy the mobs are out there.
I join our mayor and our senator in asking them to get the heck out of our city.
She's basically calling for an insurrection.
President Trump
unapologetically
on social, and he posted about the video. He posted a different video than the one I think a lot of us have seen. He said it's a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, that's an incredibly delusional statement.
So one of the architects of all of the fraud in Minnesota says that the president is delusional. It says that the president's the bad guy. Meanwhile, the governor is invoking the Civil War.
Things looked really bleak. It was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation.
When?
On that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we live in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy, to hold the line on decency.
He's calling for insurrection.
On accountability. And more than that,
that's not accountability.
To rise up as neighbors.
Accountability means he's in jail.
Say, we can look out for one another. We can have differences. But we proved to the world going on 250 years that our democracy could hold. It feels to me like we're at one of those inflection points.
So according to the governor, who could wind up in federal prison, we're at an inflection point. And we sure are.
This grocery store, it's actually not just like a normal grocery store.
Oh, it's not a normal grocery store?
There's
what
actually
kind of
other stores inside of the grocery store. So right here you have one store. Right here you have another store, and then right here you have another store. Then up here you have another store.
Is there any fraud going on here?
The grocery store, there are 6 separate stores. How's life here as a Somalian?
Life is good. I do phone bills, sending money to Africa. That's where the business is good.
And how have you seen the rise of Somalian here inside of Minnesota?
Well, the rise is good, and we have a place to pray, and life is good.
How long have you lived here in America for?
For 10 years now.
And when you came here, did the government bring you here, or did you come here by your own choice?
I came here by my own choice. I was one of the refugees from Uganda.
Oh.
I was brought by UN.
You were brought by the UN to come into the United States?
Yes. Life is good, you know. We try to enter businesses, intermingle.
Look, if this guy's not doing anything illegal, if he's out there in public running a legitimate business, no problem. But the question is, who's sending money out of the country, and where did they get that money? Don't ask Ilhan Omar.
Our spending bills making its way through Congress was a $1 million earmark from Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, which was an earmark that was supposedly going to a substance abuse clinic, which actually happened to be housed
Wow.
in a restaurant and run by 3 individuals that share the same residential address,
That's like what we just
according to
saw.
their IRS paperwork. Tons of red flags.
They're still doing
This
it.
is what we saw with the fraud involving the daycare centers.
They're still doing it. No one's been held accountable. We've got these elected representatives out there crying how evil and awful and unjust America and the Trump administration are, and they're still trying to pass their scams at a federal level.
Now we see other earmarks coming directly from members of Congress where it seems fraud is being perpetrated as well. So I raised the issue, and
That's so
fortunately, the House has now stripped that earmark out of that spending bill. But again, this is how easy money has been flowing to bad actors in Minnesota.
Right, it's disgusting. That's why the government should have less of our money, not more.
And use the welfare state to do it.
Right.
Critics are also asking why Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's husband reportedly purged key official details from his $25 million venture capital firm's website.
Why would he do that?
Now, this move comes amid growing questions about the couple's wealth and possible connection to the welfare fraud. According to her latest financial disclosure in May, the couple's net worth surged 3,500% in just 1 year. It
Wow,
estimates now,
that's crazy. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for subscribing.
to $30 million. Their net worth went up 3,500%.
Even Nancy Pelosi's not doing that well. Come on, this is a red flag. Something fishy is happening here. At least that's what it looks like.
How do you explain that? Their net worth went up 3,500%. How do you explain that? And then talk about the scrubbing on the website. That doesn't look good. What's Walz doing about that? Is he looking into
Nothing.
this?
Well, certainly not. I mean, he's certainly supportive of whatever they're doing, and this is one of the other things that we need to address is the extent to which members of Congress find themselves getting wealthy while they're in Congress. In this case, it appears by being completely in bed with all of the fraudulent activity that's going on in Minnesota. Of course, we should investigate this. Of course, we look into what they're scrubbing from their website. I think we've got to explore this as far as we can, including potentially
Not looking good, man.
and removing Ilhan Omar.
Her partner told her drive.
And by the way, we should also
Did you hear that part?
members of Congress if we're talking about the wealth of Congress, and I
for
hope
sure.
we'll do that, and I hope we will do that next year. Mike Johnson, the speaker, is working with us to do that. We've got to stop all of this flow of dollars that is corrupting our system. Empower the American people to do what they do best.
Right, and okay, this is where the argument about a smaller federal government comes into play, because the government, whether it's Trump running it or Biden or Barack Obama or George Bush, the same government cannot be trusted.
And we've got to pause immigration. I introduced a bill to pause immigration because we've got to stop this massive abuse of our system. Using H-1Bs, using diversity visas. President Trump is exactly right to have frozen the diversity visas, to have stopped that, to freeze the flow from countries of concern. Remember that in 1920, when we had a high percentage of people who were foreign born, we froze immigration for 40 years. We did great things in those 40 years. We can do it again. That's why I introduced legislation to pause immigration. The president's right to do that, and I'm supporting him in that effort.
Okay. Meantime, the Trump administration is working to highlight its achievements this year ahead of next year's midterm elections. And
Okay,
commentator
cool.
Scott Jennings
Okay,
says
yeah.
that one victory is bigger than the rest. What is it? Let's watch.
I think on the immigration piece, it's been his biggest success this year. It's the biggest promise fulfilled.
And by cracking down on the immigration fraud, we're discovering all kinds of other fraud, aren't we? Some of the people that have been stealing from American people haven't been in the country with permission, and they were chummed up with Governor Walz. And now rioters are just taking over the state.
That city entirely. The Trump administration doubling down in its
It is an insurrection at this point.
while local leaders want him arrested. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer is live in Minneapolis for us once again. Brooke, what's the feeling like on the ground
the
nearly
feeling.
48 hours later, and what's to come of today?
Rioting, that's the feeling.
Right, Smith. She shouldn't have been there. Her and her partner.
This morning, as you can imagine, tensions are still
But the news keep telling them that they Gestapo, they bad, break the law. It's okay, and they got sent off.
officially authorized the National Guard
That's
to be
crazy.
staged and ready. Overnight, we saw more protests throughout the city
Look
of
at this.
Minneapolis. There were people with signs
They're just
telling
taking
ICE
over.
to get out. out. Protesters here in this city very
Who organized
angry
all
over
these
this week's
people?
deadly shooting and the immigration crackdown.
We're supposed to
in the
believe these
state
are
of
normal people.
Minnesota.
One of them
Right, who made the signs?
Demonstration all day
Who
yesterday
busted them
outside the
there?
federal
Because these people don't even
building.
live
This
there.
is their job.
Yelling at border agents to pack up and leave.
That's their
Did see
job,
some
to yell.
clashes, arrests, pepper spray, some tear gas, and protesters tell me they're not
Yep.
leaving until ICE does.
Yep, because they're being
Tell me
paid.
your message to federal officials right now.
Our message is to get out of Minneapolis. We will continue to put the pressure on peacefully.
I don't see that happening.
Determination and commitment, because this is not the way
Listen
we
to the
want to live.
screaming in the
This
background.
is not the country we live
Right.
in.
Right, but where's the peace? There's no peace going on here. These people are just attacking this jailhouse in order to get arrested and let the news film it to try and turn public opinion against the law enforcement apparatus of this country.
There you go.
It's another really painful and traumatic experience for our state here, and again we have a
It is shutting down the state.
Governor of our state, other leaders have totally failed to step up to meet the moment. You know,
They don't want to step up.
said that the state is at war with the federal government. That
Yeah,
he's called
he has.
National Guard to.
He has said that. He has said his state is at war with the federal government. He's telling his constituents to get out there and use their voices and be heard, but be peaceful, but we're at war. But be peaceful, but we're at war. This double
Right.
speak. The mobs are hearing what they want to hear, and they're doing what they want to do because they know their governor is behind them.
Oppose the federal government. This is really just bizarre behavior on the part of our president. Really troubling in terms of his state of mind, in terms of how he thinks about it. We need leaders right now to step up, turn the temperature down,
Right.
to bring people together.
They're not
I'm sorry
doing
to say
that.
Tim Walz continues to do just the opposite.
That's it. He's turning up the heat.
So many of your elected leaders over the past 48 hours, we have heard complete misunderstandings of law. And as an aging candidate, I'm sure you saw that as well. We've also seen a lot of, quite frankly, lies when it comes to facts.
And the reason that they do that, these politicians, they get out there and they thump their chests and they hit their podium and they say, what ICE is doing is illegal. It's not illegal, but they're lying. They're an elected representative and they're using their position of power to project lies that go right into the ears and manipulate the hearts and minds of their sanctuary residents.
What do the majority of Minnesotans think when they see their elected leaders, led by Tim Walz,
Trying to give you guys a better angle of me.
what they've shown over the last 48 hours?
I mean, clown show.
Well, I think you'd have to say that the vast majority
It's not
of
working.
Minnesotans are just deeply troubled by the trajectory of our state, particularly over the past 5-6 years.
It's terrible.
His leadership, he's been totally ill-equipped. He's been totally negligent.
I'm throwing snowballs at their own police.
Circumstances like this, when it comes to fraud and so forth, and so the average Minnesotan is looking out there and saying, "What happened to this state? This true leader of the country that we had just a few years ago."
Vice President J.D. Vance made a big
I'd be pretty depressed if I lived in Minnesota right now to know that everything I work for is just going to fraudsters and people are getting rich while my family's struggling. This is horrible.
Minneapolis public schools closed today and will be closed.
And the schools are
tomorrow.
closed.
They say it's out of an abundance of caution over safety concerns with ICE operations.
This is crazy.
Richard Reed's live in Minneapolis with more
Why
on
is
that,
ICE
Rich.
near the schools if illegal
Yeah,
immigrants
outside
aren't there?
Roosevelt High School, where just yesterday there was a confrontation between ICE agents and other people
Interesting.
outside. This closure will have a huge impact. Some 1,000 schools, 30,000 students.
30,000 students.
The name of
30,000 students can't go to class.
Minneapolis public schools remain closed through the weekend.
What language is that on the front door of the
Caution.
school?
This after ICE says an enforcement operation ended outside Roosevelt High School. Was this the right thing to do to close the schools for the next couple of days?
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, who knows what could have happened?
Right. But now, if the schools are shut down and 30,000 kids can't go to school, guess what they're all going to need? They're all going to need to find a daycare. And luckily for them, there are a whole bunch of empty ones that are already getting government money. So perhaps these places will just open right up and accept all the kids that can't show up to class anymore so that the economy here can still work. What a great system.
An ICE statement this enforcement operation was the end of a 5-mile pursuit of the U.S. citizen, who ICE says had rammed his car into a government vehicle and drove onto school property. ICE says a man identifying himself as a teacher assaulted a Border Patrol agent.
Wow, that's the
Agents
teacher.
said people began throwing objects at the officers and their
And
vehicles.
then the mobs attacked.
Did reach out to the Minneapolis public schools to get their version of what happened. We have not heard back.
I wouldn't want my kids being taught by that teacher.
We work every day, day in and day out, to pay our bills and make sure that we can live safely, and we can't feel safe in our own community.
But whose fault is that? Is that the fault of law enforcement who's here getting criminals who are so dangerous they'll lead federal agents who are armed and wearing military body armor on a 5-mile pursuit and then crash their vehicle after trying to run over federal agents with that vehicle? Is that the fault of law enforcement for catching that guy, or is that the fault of sanctuary leaders who have allowed your city to become that?
A lot of legal leeway pursuing suspects. But what about access
He tried to really hurt somebody.
Former Chief Immigration Judge Ryan Wood says there are limits.
If a area is closed to, like a classroom, would presumably be closed to the members of the public during regular business hours, ICE would not be permitted to go into there without permission from someone from the school district saying that they're allowed to go into that space.
Wow, okay.
Now, ICE says no students or faculty were targeted. They say their agents wouldn't even been here if they were not pursuing that particular person.
Okay, thank you. That's the truth. But you know what? The mobs, they don't want to believe it. They want to believe that they're on the side of righteousness out there attacking the federal government every single chance they get. That's what makes them sleep at night, knowing that they're going to get a paycheck tomorrow when they show up at the local ICE detention center and try to break in again. That's what we're seeing here. I can't believe that these mobs are allowed to do this. I can't believe that there aren't any consequences. Actually, I can. I can believe it, because you know what? It's happening. It's happening right in front of us.
Soda, can I say something right quick? This feels like George Floyd 2.0. It feels like George Floyd 2.0, but rather than a black person who passed a fake bill and was high on drugs, rather than that, you got a white liberal lesbian poet. I'm not making that up. I am not making that up.
She's been following him. You know what I'm saying? Right. She's been following him.
A husband, I suppose.
It's been confirmed.
The kid, I don't know.
Witnesses, the news.
And prayers out to them. I'm just saying, that's just what she was. 37 years old. From what I see, it looked like she was trying to run over the agent. They got her stopped. The window is down. They're speaking to her. They got guns, and she veers toward them and trying to take off. People, what they do sometimes, they do stuff like that, and then they try to escape right afterward. This is a thing that I see quite a bit. It's a passive-aggressive way of being very aggressive. Let me explain a little bit more. When someone wants to punch you in the face or spit on you or slap you and walk away like Will Smith did at the Oscars with Chris Rock, I don't even understand that. Now, where I'm from, you do something like that, you got to fight immediately. Ain't no, I slap you in the face, punch you in the face, spit on you, try to run over you, and you get to get away. Nah. You got to go ahead and deal with this right now. Especially if you're in a vehicle trying to hit a police officer. Anybody with a brain knows if you do something like that, you asking to go ahead and get popped. You asking to get clipped. You got a deputy. You're trying to do self-delete by cop at that point. I don't even know why you think that's okay to do. And why is anybody talking about, oh, well, you shouldn't have done that? People going through it frame by frame, playing Monday morning quarterback, frame by frame. Well, at this particular frame, at 0.0001, you could have been.
I'm doing good, Texas. How you been, man? Doing great. Happy Friday.
Real fast in real time. So what are you going to do? Just wait to see in that split second if you get hit and run over and killed or seriously injured, get put in the bag. Just
sharing information with people, trying to get my subscriber count up.
When you see what's unfolding,
being humble,
at that
keeping
moment,
it real.
What do? And I'm willing to bet if you spoke to law enforcement, anybody that has any experience with this, they would say, you know what? You have to act as soon as the threat is identified until the threat is no longer a threat. It's very simple. And when police and other people don't act when there's a threat, and then the threat goes on to do something really bad to people,
thank you.
Then they say, where was the police? Why didn't they act? Why didn't they intervene? Why didn't... It's all kind of money quarterback type stuff going on. But if you are in a situation, my suggestion, my advice, this is just my opinion. I'm not a professional, obviously, but my advice would be,
thank you.
If you are in a situation where somebody has a vehicle, this big truck, van, whatever she had, and they're aiming it at you, and they mashing the gas down to the floor, and you got a gun.
Thanks, Texas.
Hey, man,
Appreciate
at
it.
that point,
I
it's
see.
a matter of protecting your life. So you got to do what you got to do. That's just my humble opinion. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a police officer. I'm not in the military. I'm not a nice. I'm just a guy giving my 2 cents on the situation. But Minnesota sucks, really. Minnesota sucks.
Right, Joshua, she shouldn't have been there, y'all.
If you live in Minnesota, I apologize for saying that about your state. And to be specific, I'm going to say Minneapolis, especially. Minneapolis sucks. We've seen this already. We saw what happened with George Floyd. It was appalling.
Why was her partner outside the car? And she wasn't trying to cause any trouble with ICE or block ICE. Why was the partner outside the car with her cell phone and ICE face?
Already set for something. The ground was already set for a thing like this to take place. It was already set because you got Tampon Tim Waltz out there.
Tampon Tim.
You got Jacob Fry hit the FRR city, go in the streets. You have these people inciting the riots. It sounds like they're inciting an insurrection against the federal government. That's kind of what it sounds like. I heard Tampon Tim say that he's at war with the federal government, that his state is at war with the federal government. Now, if a sitting governor, lame duck or no lame duck, says something like that, what do you call that? Is that not inciting an insurrection? Because if it's not, I can't tell. What other way could you take a sitting governor say that we are at war with the federal government other than an insurrection? But, of course, January 6th just happened again. Was that the 5th anniversary of it? Of this dead horse that's going to keep reviving and beating up until it dies again. But anyway, it just had a J6 little kind of like vigil, all this, that, and the third, because that was an insurrection, quote unquote, and we'll never forget. And then the very next day, you, Tampon Tim, and others get on TV and say that Minnesota is at war with the federal government. You are inside an insurrection. And when the federal agents are out there, the people who Tampon Tim is inciting, many of whom are paid with organizations which should be illegal. Can I say something right quick? I know I can, so I'm talking. Is it possible for Marco Rubio or whoever to get on task of making paid protesters in this country illegal? Can we do that? Is that a thing that's possible? Now, I know we got freedom of speech or whatever, but at a certain point, you're talking about paid insurrectionists. And this is why that dude, what was that guy from the college, the guy from Syria, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Palestine, wherever he was, so you know what I'm talking about, in college. I don't know what school it was, but I forgot. But anyway, that guy got his green card revoked because he was on campus inciting riots, inciting insurrectionist and anti-American activity. That cannot be covered under freedom of speech because all we are doing, if we allow that to happen, is we are importing foreign actors who come to destabilize us. In any nation on planet Earth, that should not be tolerated. The same way Eric Swalwell had the spy with him, Fang Fang Yum Yum, the same type of energy needs to be given to those who come to the country under false pretense. You say you want to come here for education, you say you want to come here to better your life, but when you get here, you are insurrectionists, you are pain in our hind parts, you are thorn on our side, you're just getting in the way. You are a foreign actor of disunity. You are a foreign actor of chaos, and you got to get up out of here. So surely there should be something
No problem.
for these companies who intentionally create chaos. You see, it's one thing to go out there and protest, freedom of speech, First Amendment, cool. But when you organize things, possibly internationally, to sow seeds of discord, to promote disunity, to create civil unrest, when that's happening, it should not be legal. That's just my humble opinion. Okay, I don't know what y'all think, but that's pretty much where I'm at. And we see these organizations just out there. Well, it was one organization I saw, FRSO, I thought it was FRSQ, FRSO. They got logos, websites, they tell you exactly who they are. One guy who was asked about Venezuela, because he had a sign out there to protest, he's asked about Maduro, asked about Venezuela. He admitted, I know nothing about the guy. I don't know nothing. I'm just out here supporting. And then he slipped, in my opinion. he probably shouldn't have said this, but he said he's with Central CSO. What is Central CSO? Is that a company that you work for? Is that an organization? Is that a 501c3, 501c4, whatever they call it? 501c82, ABCD123, one of these Somali type schema operations? What's really happening with these particular people and these places they work for? These not-for-profits and random weird organizations, legal loophole organizations, they got to go. So I'm not sure who's got to be on the task of eliminating these organizations, whether it's Marco for his 495th job of the administration or anybody else. I don't care. You can get Dan Bongino off the podcast and let him do that. I don't know. Do something. Get somebody on that, because it's to the point now where it's ridiculous. Anytime you see anybody out there protesting, you're going to think paid, fake, inorganic, not real, sowing seeds of discord, funded from foreign assets. Not just George Soros, but there's 1,000 George Soroses in the world who all have vested interest in seeing America fall and seeing America succumb to the Eastern powers, to Russia, China, Iran, etc., which is why Venezuela was so important. Now, some of us on the right don't like what's happening with Venezuela, and I get it. It's regime change, all this and that, I get it. But it's not like if we did nothing, then nothing would happen. If we did nothing, then something would have happened. And really, it would have been a continuation of what's been going on, of the Eastern powers controlling Venezuela. Venezuela will not be independent totally, just totally by themselves, because the idea of the idealistic American, the idealistic person is that Venezuela can be left to its own devices, not do any kind of deals with anybody, just do their own thing, okay? Pump their own oil, take care of their own people, totally independent. But the reality of the world is that's not going to be the case. The reality is they're going to align with us, or they're going to align with them. There is no in between. There is no third option. There is no cop out. If we don't align with them, then they will be aligned with the Chinese, with the Russians, with the Iranians, and with communism. And as a result, their people are going to suffer. So when you ask Venezuelans about Maduro, about Trump, they're like, look, you can have the gas, it's fine, because number one, Venezuela only produces 20% of their capacity in oil. Fun fact. And number two, the oil that is produced is taken and does not really help the people, and is given to Cuba to help prop that up, and to Russia, Iran, China, etc. It does not help Venezuelan people the way it should. Before Hugo Chavez and Maduro was the Venezuelan-U.S. partnership. It was a good thing. Was Venezuela perfect? Of course not, but it was better than it is right now. Better than it is right now. Venezuela got so bad, and it's still bad like that, to where they had to break into zoos and eat the animals in the zoo because there's no food, which always happens under communism. There's no food. Okay, you go to the grocery store trying to buy something, ain't no food there. So now you got to go forage and do all kind of things. The same thing happened in USSR. The same thing happened with Germany. A lot of those deaths in the camps, the gulags, came as a result of no food being available. It wasn't just a matter of, it wasn't always just, okay, get up against the wall and get shot. They did that as well, which happened in Venezuela as well. But it's a matter of, okay, if we don't just shoot you, you can be in this work camp, and we don't have enough food to be able to feed you. Therefore, it's going to be a famine within the actual camp, a famine in the gulag. That's what happens with these places. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. Now, some of us think that if we keep trying communism, one day it'll work. One day it'll be the best thing for everybody. But it never actually happens. It never materializes. Also, there's a certain way you could do war or any kind of military action. The thing about Venezuela, if this is going to be a decades-long war, Iraq, Afghanistan, something like that, then I'll be totally against all that activity, all that war. But if you're able to go in there in 90 minutes and extract them out of the country, and it's not this big, prolonged gunfight, America is dying years and years and years, like the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. I mean, that's a meat grinder over there. And guys are getting conscripted to go die for no reason, really. There's no purpose in having this war just rage on. some people like wars to rage on because it makes money. You got to just fuel that military-industrial complex. Okay, you got to fuel that beast. I'm not saying that when you went to Venezuela, the effort it took was totally free. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is it's a lot less expensive and safer than having a decades-long war, a la Iraq, a la Iran, a la Afghanistan, etc. Well, not Iran yet. They want. Hey, you know what's funny? The citizens of Iran, the Iranians, they want the Americans to come in and liberate them too. But if we do that, what we've already done, that's a little bit complicated. Iran is like the button because of all the Islam, because of the religion, all the different things that have happened. Venezuela is not that way. Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, a lot of these countries are wanting Americans to come help them because ain't nobody else doing it. If America's not going to help them, then they're going to be victim to Russia, China, etc. That's what I'm saying. It's not like you could just have these states be totally independent. That'd be a dream. That'd be, I guess, best case scenario in the fantasy world, but fantasy is not reality. Okay? Well, if was the fifth, we all be drunk. If was the fifth, we all be drunk. We can't live on these if scenarios. Well, if this and if that, well, guess what? It ain't. It ain't. So what do you do with reality as it stands rather than a fantasy scenario? What if? Well, what about what is? Let's talk about that. That's actually what matters in my humble opinion. What do y'all think? But yeah, shout out to Marco Rubio. I'm the president. I'm appointing myself the president of the Marco Rubio fan club. I'm a big fan of his. He has improved a lot since that whole water bottle kerfuffle back in the day, back in like 2013, 2014, whatever that was. He has improved so much since then. He is a standout in this administration. JD Vance, I like him, but he got kind of that redneck stuff going on. You got to get to that battle.
Anthony Bryan Logan.
Come from the same place, bro. Appalachia adjacent, Middletown, Ohio. I understand. I get it. But that can't be what you have going forward if you're going to be the president.
Thanks, Danny, for logging in.
I like JD. Don't get it twisted.
Thanks, thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
Oh, you hate JD. Nah, I like JD. And I like President Trump. And I like Marco. And then in order, I like Trump, Marco, JD. That's what I like. And I think Trump feels the same way because he got Marco doing everything. JD Vance, I see him, but he's not really having any kind of roles because Marco is better. And it's okay. Look, I'm the kind of guy, I'm all about a meritocracy. Who's going to do the better job? I don't care nothing about nothing. I don't care what color. Look, and for real, if it was a transformer that could do a better job than everybody, then I would say vote for he, she, they, them, Jim, sir. But that's not living in reality. You know, I'm just saying as an example. I don't really care about someone's identity more than I care about their ability to perform, and Marco has done that. But it just so happens he's Hispanic, which would be a big benefit. If Marco, a Cuban, is able to help liberate Cuba and Venezuela and all the other jobs, you got to make him be the president. At that point, he has to become president because he's going to have all the momentum. Everybody's going to say, Viva Marco. JD, I like you, but Viva Marco. That's just my humble opinion. But it'll probably be JD running because he's the vice president, and that's normally how it goes. And you don't want to make it seem like JD's, you know, a bad vice president. He sucks. It ain't like that. It just happens to be that Marco is so much better, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, Zach.
Okay, exactly, Giselle. I like JD, but Marco 2028. Rubio 2028. Exactly. 100%. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Ice shooting. You're going to get to that. We got the videos of the ice shooting. From what I was able to see, it looked like it was justified. But of course, when you have police shootings, people want to give their 2 cents. People want them on their quarterback. Some think that the police shouldn't have any guns. They should just, you know, let people do whatever they want. It's just not living in reality. People got to understand what reality is and live in that. Okay? And speaking of living in reality, you got Tampon Tim dropping out of the governor's race. That's hilarious. That is so fun. And really, he dropped out of the race because Nick Shirley exposed him. And that's crazy that a YouTuber was able to get you to drop out of the race. It was in his statement talking about some, well, you know, some things have been getting in the news, and Trump is waging war on our state. It's like, bro, y'all let the Somalis do whatever they want to do down there, and the pattern was so obvious, and it's not been happening. It's not like it just happened this year or last year. This has been going on since like 2009 at the earliest. At the latest, 2009. It's probably been earlier than that. This been going on since I was wearing the big jeans and Timberland boots on the beach, looking like I'm one of these young Gen Zs right now. It's been going on since then. This ain't nothing new. This is an old story. I was reporting on this type of stuff when I first started in 2015, 2016. When I first started, and not just here in the States, but all over the world, I was saying the exact same thing. So it's not new. So they had plenty of time to fix it. They had plenty of time to get it tightened up. But all that happened over the past few years is that it became more entrenched. They did not do anything to fix it because they cool with it for whatever the reason may be. Maybe they allow Somalis to commit fraud because it helps them in some kind of way. I don't know. When they get monies from the companies in their campaigns, speaking about Democrats, that is, they get monies from the Somali fake daycares in their campaigns. And maybe the Somali children, they go out there and do jobs people don't want to do. I don't know. But the Minnesotans, the liberals in Minneapolis, sure love their Somali scammers. They love them. The Somali scammers specifically is who they love. For some reason. If y'all know why they love them so much, please let me know. Please let me know. And I feel like they intentionally get the scammer type person. Upstanding citizen, regular number Somali, trying to go to school and work. Nah. Okay, this guy here, his name is Muhammad. Okay. M5 for short, that's his nickname. And he has convictions of bank fraud, credit card fraud. Yeah, let's get him into Minnesota and let him be a citizen and let him open the daycare and a home health care center and the medical transport, all of that. Because I know he'll do a great job at those jobs. Now, he's going to be a scammer and fraud the system and steal from the federales. Is the point to have them steal to have that money boost your economy up in Minnesota? Is that the reason? Maybe so, because you got to understand what's going on, how much money you guys are spending on these certain things. It's obvious to see. Anybody could have seen it. It's not something that is taking a rocket scientist to figure out. So, Tampon Tim, Ilhan Omar, Amy Klobuchar, Jacob Fry, all you guys have allowed this kind of thing to fester. Not just the Somalis with the fraud, but also the anti-police sentiment, the anti-ICE sentiment, the anti-federal government sentiment. You guys have allowed it to foster. And now, what's the result? Massive fraud. Billions upon billions of federal tax money stolen by the Somalis in Minnesota. And then, Minneapolis, St. Paul, a war zone. They're trying to enforce federal law onto a place, and it's not happening properly because the people are so anti-government, which is them being fueled by the rhetoric of their leaders. Tampon Tim, Jacob Fry, Ilhan Omar, Amy Klobuchar, and the list goes on. And the craziest part was I showed y'all the video years ago when they changed the flag, the Minnesota flag to the Somali flag. If you guys have not seen that, hold on. I got to show you that because I know I've shown that before, but I got to show it to you again. Okay. Yeah. And this was in 2024. 2024, they did this. Hold on. Before we get into the videos, I'm going to show you one video that we're going to keep going after that. Hold on. Do I have any sound? What's going on? Can you guys hear that or not? Oh, there we go. Let's turn that on. That'll help.
Today, Minnesota's new state flag is flying at the Capitol in St. Paul to celebrate statehood. This comes after some Republicans tried and failed to stop the shift. Yes, that's the flag. The redesign scraps Native American imagery that was on the old flag, and the new flag features the North Star on a navy blue background with a patch of light blue on the right side. You know what it looks a lot like, the one on the right? The Somalia flag.
So just erase it. Oh, does it really?
Oh, yeah. Which is where we're going anyway.
Just gonna erase it?
That's crazy.
Yes.
So look, okay. That on the right is the new flag. On the left is the old flag. Now, let me show you the Somali flag. Do you see a resemblance?
Right, blue in the sky. Why?
Okay, that is literally the flag of Somalia. Do you see a resemblance between this and the flag of Minnesota, the brand new flag of Minnesota? They pretty much say, hey, you know what? Check it out. We are now Somalia. I'm the captain now, pretty much. And the background is blue, but it's a different blue than the Somali flag. But the original flag has a blue that's similar to the Somali blue. So if they just put this star onto this background, it would have been copyright infringement at that point. Make it a little bit different, you know, make it a tad bit different. See, that's what's happening with Minnesota. It's obvious, it's straight out there in the open, and as a result, they've had some issues. They have had some issues there. Okay, you just cede your state to a whole different country. What do you expect to happen? I'm just trying to understand. And you know what? Here's my question. What percentage of Somalia's GDP comes from Minnesota alone? Just Minnesota, not anywhere else in the country, not anywhere else in the world, but Minnesota specifically, and the surrounding area of Minnesota, and North Dakota, somewhere like that. How much of the Somalia GDP comes from that particular part of the country? That's all I'm trying to figure out. All right. That new flag is terrible. The new flag is awful. Virginia, I love my Virginia flag. They better never change it. Okay. Six Semper Tyrannis. Okay. Thus I bring death to tyrants. Hold on, let me see if I can put it up right quick. Yeah, I love the Virginia flag. That's probably one of the best flags in the nation. Okay. Yeah, keep that. Hey, VA, do never change this flag, ever. Don't do it. Okay? Don't change it to any other state, any other country, nothing like that. Keep the old school seal, the Latin, yeah. The tyrant with his crown off. Let's do that. You know, we were the first No Kings. Yeah, this is the first No Kings protest right here. Okay, that's the first No Kings protest. And you know what's funny? People who say No Kings are now talking about, oh, free Maduro, with the fake Spanish accent. Free Maduro in Caracas. I was like, all right, all right, whatever. Just yesterday you were talking about No Kings. Now you're talking about free the dictator. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's fine. All I'm saying is be consistent. That's all I'm asking about. Anyway, we got a lot to get into. The Minnesota shooting, quite a few other things, but first things first, shout out to you guys for watching. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff that help me out tremendously. Also, please go to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description, or visit patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABO sent you. Also, go to my Cameo page. Shout out to you guys who got some cameos for the holidays. I appreciate y'all, definitely. But if you want me to send your loved one, friend, family, whatever, a message for anything, you can do so through Cameo. You go to cameo.com, search me, ABL, I'll pop up. There's also a link right there in the description for me if you want to do that. All right. Shout out to you guys again who've already got some. I appreciate y'all for doing that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them. But also, go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, cities, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY. The letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. I have articles for each long-form video that I produce, and in each article, I have sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democrat, Republican, political, agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. They're able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you believe you're
how you doing, Sherlock?
on the interwebs, you're probably not. It's probably
thanks for joining in.
It's
Happy Friday.
2026. Don't get scammed. You already know where the scammers come from all over the world, but some hotbed places. Okay, They got India, all of India, okay, Eastern Europe, Moldova, Ukraine, Russia, anywhere like that. Transnistria, all these random places. You can get scanned over there too. It'll be somebody on the phone named Boris, Natasha, Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies. They're going to be trying to scam you. And of course, you already know Nigeria is where they're going to be. They're going to be in Niger trying to take all your money. They're going to think that you are a fool. They can take everything that you have. They can, all your hard-earned monies will be gone in an instant. Please don't get scammed by these people. They might get you on the phone, they do a little FaceTime. Hey, they might find them with Swin, they be yelling Lego somewhere. Get them in here right now. We're going to scam this person today. We're going to go all the money. Hey, get them in here right now. They might deploy him, but when you hear the accent and it ain't accenting properly, that'll be included. It's not me. So please don't get scammed by a body double, a twin, or anything like that. And we got AI, it's crazy, so please don't fall for it. And God forbid they can map my voice with AI, boy, you're gonna be in trouble. But hey, the best way to make sure that it's me is to email me directly, contact@anthonyblogan.com. The email's on the contact page of the website. If you email me there and I respond, it's me. If anything else, don't think it's me at all. All right? Now, let's get to what happened with Minnesota. Now, of course, we got a shooting where ICE agents had shot a woman, 37 years old, I believe, a lesbian poet. I'm not making that up. Some say the shooting was justified. Some say that it wasn't. Now, look at this angle right here, and let me know what you think. And look down toward the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, above the 5 from the TV station. Look right there, and let me know what you see. Check it out.
What's up, Nick?
All right, so you see what's going on there. I'm gonna play it one more time for you. One more time. And again, look right above the 5 in the bottom right-hand corner so you can see what's going on. And we're gonna get we got different angles to look at so you can kind of see it from all points of view that are available. Now you see right there, we kind of focusing on. So from my point of view, it looks like, if you look, you got a cop right there, you see? And it looks like he gets clipped or something. Now, right when that happens, the gun goes off. So how long is that whole process? 1 second. So now what happens is, we're going to look at the frame by frame, or pardon me, not the frame by frame yet, a different angle within the frame by frame of a different angle. So let's look at this angle right here. So look, a little bit of context. The woman had been harassing them all day and getting in the way and preventing them from being able to move.
Them damn Karens.
What they were trying to do right here, the agents that is, they were trying to get their vehicle out of an area where there was snow because it got stuck. I know how driving in snow and ice is a little bit different. You know, Minnesota, frozen tundra, I can't do nothing with it personally. But you see what she's doing. She's blocking the way. So now they got to say, okay, I need you to get out the way. Now he's saying, get out the car. Get out the effing car. Y'all heard that. Rather than getting out the car, rather than complying with the orders, now I'm going to just refuse to get out, and I'm going to try to back up and potentially hit the cop with the car. Or pardon me, the ICE officer with the car. Let's watch.
That's a partner right there.
So you got an officer right in front of the vehicle, and then one to the side trying to get the door open. Okay, so let's see this right here. And then what happens? The cop on the side is not the one that is the target. It's the guy right there. and she turns the wheel and cuts towards him. Okay, she turns the wheel and cuts towards him. See, now people looking at him, they're saying that he's firing while she's driving away. Well, she just tried to hit him. And that happened all in one instant, like this. Just like that. Watch. So what do you do in that situation? Just, maybe she's going to hit me, run me over, and I'll be dead out here. I hit my head on the ground, bleed out, get run by the car. What happens in that situation? You just let it happen? I want to know. Okay. Why is he in front of the vehicle? Maybe he thought that she wasn't going to try to run him over. Maybe he was wrong. So we got it up close. I'm going to turn the sound off because it's just the slow sound of the people screaming in the background. You see the cop right there on the side. Okay. Another cop right there. Okay. Right in the front of the vehicle. She's turning the wheel to back up, and then she's turning it forward to go straight. If you were trying to evade, why not cut the wheel all the way to miss the cop? You were trying to hit him and then run off and get away. See? You see the wheels turning? Because look, again, you had your wheels going this way. We all know how to do that. If you're cutting your wheels to the left, you're trying to back up toward the left. Okay? If you got your wheels cutting toward the left and you're hitting in reverse, you're trying to back up toward the left. But then you straighten your wheels and you hit the car and drive. And you accelerate. You're trying to go forward. If you were trying to just escape, you would have cut your wheels to the right, got it in drive, and gone to the right, rather than trying to go straight ahead. Does it make sense? Let's play it one more time. So you can see the wheels turning, and then the wheels straighten up, and then boom, accelerate right away. As soon as she got the wheels going forward, she hit it in drive and accelerated immediately. Okay, so now the one cop might get dragged. He about to fall on the ice. Other cop about to get hit. And then when the gunshots ring out, then it becomes, okay, let me escape now. Right? So, listen, man, RIP to her. But you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I don't understand what needs to be said here. I don't really get it. And again, I think this is a thing that has been ginned up by Jacob Fry, Tampon Tim Waltz, everybody out there in Minnesota, all the bad leadership, all the Democrat leadership out there, and not just them in Minnesota, but Democratic leadership, bad actors all over the country and all over the world, saying that ICE are bad and they're Nazis and they're racist and everything else. I blame them for this getting to this point because really, you shouldn't even be out there. You shouldn't be trying to block officers. You shouldn't be trying to impede what they got going on. Get out the way. Get out the way. And you won't be put in harm's way if you get out the way. But she wanted to be out there trying to block and run them over, all of that. Okay, well, pop, 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 pop. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. I'm saying, and I don't care what color. Look, y'all know me. You could be black, white, Puerto Rican, Canadian, I don't care. I would never go out there and do anything like that. For what? What am I doing? Why am I impeding officers' business? What am I doing? For what? If I got a problem with what's happening, I'm going to go to court. I'm going to figure it out that way. I'm not going to be trying to just ram officers and then I get shot. Oh, nah. I did that. That's my fault. But of course, you got the activists, quote unquote, the people out there so-called protesting. You got them out there. They didn't like what happened at all. Let's watch some of this. Okay, there's no sound here, but you can see what's going on. Okay, all these people.
Okay, now I want to show you a different angle, which the administration says clearly shows that the woman was hitting the agent. Okay, now I want to show you a different angle, which the administration says clearly shows that the woman was hitting the agent.
Hey man, look, Minneapolis. I feel bad for you guys out there in Minneapolis, man. I really.
There's a first agent who goes up to the car and puts his hand on.
Now here's some of that video slowed down. Richard, what do you see?
So I see that there's a first agent who goes up to the car and puts his hand on the vehicle. And he's telling her either to stop or to get out. And I forget what he actually says. But you can see he's touching the vehicle. And then
Boom, right there. Right there. She hit him.
He's the one that moves his weapon out. He's standing a little bit in front of the vehicle. And the vehicle is coming at him. And then you hear
Dude, because I know you guys who live there, who watch me, and who are conservative in general. You guys are not going to be out here doing the nonsense that they are doing. But unfortunately, you are forced to share a space with them in the same city. Maybe you're not going to be in the same location as these ne'er-do-wells, as these dimwits. You may not be out there with that same energy in that same space, but you got to share the same state, same city at a time. You might go into a grocery store trying to get your regular food, and you see a whole group of them.
Thank you.
And they black, no deodorant. They boycott deodorant, okay? But they got on all black, no deodorant, acting the fool. You got to deal with them. No one wants to truly deal with that. I know I don't. I know y'all don't either. And that stench, I don't want to deal with that stench either, let alone the violence. Okay. Now, here's where they're throwing snowballs, I believe.
It looks as though there are some people, as you can see, throwing snowballs at some of these officials that are moving down towards what appears to be the scene. And I want to get a closer look here because it looks as though there may be, I don't know if it's a skirmish yet or obviously some kind of a conflict. There's some exchange of words happening here. The snowballs keep flying there. It looks as though there's some news crews on the ground as well. It looks as though there are some people.
I mean, just terrible behavior. But again, that is Minneapolis. Now, let's see what the news says about it. This is going to be ABC. Let's see what they say. And if they get it right, and I have a feeling they won't get it right. Let's watch some of this.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the chaos unfolding after an ICE agent shoots and kills a woman in Minneapolis. Authorities say it happened during an immigration-related operation. Chilling video of the shooting now emerging on social.
You see the one guy right there they got. Hold on, y'all see that? Hey, you want to play games? Watch this pepper spray straight to the dome.
Chilling video of the shooting now emerging on social media tonight. And a warning here, the images are disturbing. The driver, a 37-year-old woman behind the wheel of her SUV, partially blocking an intersection. Two federal
Anthony Brian Logan, ABL. His name is ABL.
Because she's been stalking them all day. Let's say it right, David.
Just try to open her door.
Hold on, let's go back a little bit. Pardon me.
Partially blocking an intersection. Two federal agents try to open her door. You see the vehicle reverse and then drive forward. A third agent then opening fire, shooting multiple times, killing the driver, hitting her in the head. All of this playing out in front of
Good shot, Moni.
protesters. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem claiming the driver tried to run over ICE agents. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, saying these claims of self-defense from ICE are, quote, a garbage narrative, telling ICE to get out of Minneapolis. ABC's Alex Perez leading us off from the scene tonight.
Tonight, protests and anger on the streets of Minneapolis after a federal agent shot and killed a woman this morning, caught on horrific video posted on X. ICE claiming self-defense, local officials calling it reckless.
She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
The incident unfolding around 10 o'clock this morning. The disturbing video posted on X shows the vehicle back up as an officer grabs a door. Then multiple shots, including through the windshield. The car accelerating and crashing.
was horrible. I mean, she crashed her car into a parked car in front of me. A neighbor ran across the street and opened her car door to see if she could provide any assistance.
The angry crowd forced back, throwing snowballs, agents responding with pepper spray and tear gas.
There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity.
The Department of Homeland Security, who announced they were sending at least 2,000 agents to Minnesota this week to begin what they called their largest immigration operation to date, says agents acted in self-defense, claiming they were stuck in the snow when the woman attacked them.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them, and those
Right, Robin, good one.
run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
Mayor Jacob Fry reacting to claims of self-defense.
I'm surprised the Democrats even call her a woman. Do the Democrats know what a woman is?
Myself, I want to tell everybody directly. That is.
He had this message for
What about her partner? Is her partner the woman, or she's the, I don't know.
Out of Minneapolis.
Okay. I want to pause for a second.
Right,
So
Michael.
you heard that cussing, get that out of Minneapolis. Now, what if you had that Somali dude? What would he say? A lot of what? Would he say that during the press conference? I'm just asking, but I digress.
We do not want you here.
Governor Tim Walz urging calm, but laying blame squarely at the Trump administration's feet.
What we're seeing is the
No, they don't know what a woman is.
designed to generate fear.
Tampon Tim.
Conflict. It's governing by reality TV.
Look at this dude, man. Look at this guy. Look at him.
Look at this
Can you
dude.
imagine? Hey, I want to thank God in heaven that we have Donald
Black
Trump
and
as the
subscribe.
president. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Because what if we had Kamala and this doofus in the White House, man? We would be. It'd be rough. It'd be real bad if we had this guy. Look at him. Just before you even talk. Anyway.
Headlines and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness.
He called the insurrection. Keep on calling ICE agents Gestapos. What you expect to happen?
Here in Minneapolis, the victim has been identified as a 36-year-old
Beta.
Renee Nicole Good. These demonstrators say they plan to stay on the streets until ICE leaves Minneapolis.
So there we go. Again, 37 years old, Renee Nicole Wood. That's the lady that was out there trying to block protesters, getting in the way, trying to run one over with her vehicle and got popped. Hey, you know what? I pray for her family. I don't know nothing about her family. She got kids or whatever. Pray for them. But if you do something like that, you have to expect that you're going to go ahead and get dealt with. I don't care what color you are, where you come from, what language you speak. That's just a thing you don't do. That's a thing that you don't do. Okay, so here's an eyewitness who is giving her 2 cents about what happened. Okay. I'm not quite sure that I've seen her in the news. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but let's just watch.
They clearly wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there.
You said we'd be crying at the midterms.
So it looked like she was impeding.
Gotta get out there and vote, people.
Yeah, that was her goal.
You got a point on that. Be nice.
So we got an eyewitness.
Gotta get out there and vote.
Saying, you know
No
what?
playing around.
She was blocking out the traffic, meaning the ICE vehicles, and they wanted to get her out the way because she was blocking ICE vehicles. Okay, now when they're trying to say, hey, get out the car, etc., hits it in reverse, then hits it in drive, lines the wheel up, go forward, and then she's trying to just go ahead and
Right, vote red all day, baby.
an ICE officer. But it didn't work, and she got deleted. So what do you do? What did you do? Anyway, but that's that on that. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. Let me see. Hold on. This is Zamdani talking about what happened. All right, this is Zamdani. You already know what you're going to get from him. All right, the county, Zamdani, what's his opinion about Minneapolis?
First, just want to make clear that the news coming out of Minneapolis is horrific. This is one part of what has been a year full of cruelty. And we know that when ICE agents attack immigrants, they attack every
Happy
single
Friday.
person across
Like
this
and
country.
subscribe.
And this is a city and will always be a city that stands up for immigrants across the 5 boroughs. And I have made it clear to everyone within my city government, and that extends to NYPD, that we are going to uphold our sanctuary city policies. We are going to adhere to them. That is why one of the 11 executive orders that we signed was to repeal the previous administration's
How a blue state
to allow for collaboration with ICE
a sanctuary and they can't take care of their own shit. That's the problem.
Following the laws
Take
that
care
we
of
have
home
set, laws
first.
which have kept New Yorkers safe. And we
These
are
damn
going to make it
Democrats.
clear to each and every person in the city what their rights are. That's why we took the time to make a Know Your Rights video, because it goes back to the earlier question. If you don't know of your rights, then how can you be expected to actually use those rights? So we are going to take every opportunity we have.
Be nice
to
how you
inform
like and
voters
subscribe.
of what they already can do, and also to make it clear to our own city government agencies and departments across the board, including NYPD, that we are not here to assist ICE agents in their work. We are here to follow the laws of New York City. First,
all right, there you go. So shout out to my New Yorkers. I'm praying for y'all. I really am. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm really praying for y'all, because this is your mayor. This is your guy. That's your man. Okay. Hopefully everything works out the way it's supposed to. I hope so. Because that right there did not sound very comforting to me. Not
No,
very
it
comforting
didn't.
at all. All right. Now, where we going to go next? Okay. Here's Tampon Tim telling people in
Subscribe,
the streets,
like and subscribe.
go out there in the streets and protest, quote unquote, against the big bad ICE.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thanks, Green. Appreciate it.
Look, and I understand the uniqueness of this moment in this week, following this week, seeing what's happening in the backdrop of a show hearing in DC. My job is to govern, and my job is to see what the facts are. This happened a couple of hours ago, and we're already pitting American against American. All of you saw a video in your eyes. We have a chaotic situation caused by the largest deployment in American history of federal agents into a community with no communication to locals. We had a chaotic situation where an individual is in their car, shot and killed. And so, look, I want to be very cautious here, because Donald Trump will make this about me. He will make this about...
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it, man.
You see the Minnesota flag behind him.
Ticks. This is about public safety, and this is about normalcy to Americans who are watching this. If you're in Portland, or you're in LA, or you're in Chicago, or you're wherever they're coming next, stand with us. Stand with us against this. This was so...
How you doing, Kenny?
So preventable, so unnecessary, and I don't know. I hope maybe we're at their McCarthy.
Oh, no problem. I don't mind showing my face.
Do you have no decency? We have someone dead.
See,
Give me a better setup.
To me, you're inciting something. You're inciting something. And bro, Ozempic, it ain't for everybody. And it really ain't for nobody. But
Thank you.
You can tell, because it's like, you look like you're deflated. It's like you got a balloon, you just... Because when you're on Ozempic, just right quick, before I continue and get off of this particular subject, when you're on Ozempic, you can lose weight, but you're not eating properly, so you're going to lose weight and muscle. You're going to lose just overall mass. And the result is you're going to look the same as you were when you were fat, just like a smaller version of your fat self. Sometimes. In this case, that's kind of what it looks like. Him and Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let's keep going here.
All right, Green. Hey, Green, no problem, man. Thank you, man. Excuse me. Thank you.
Tampon Tim's daughter, talking about Nick Shirley. Okay? Now, people like this person, what's his daughter's name? Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. And I'm not saying the wrong thing. Tampon Tim walks his daughter. Her name is Hope. Hope Waltz. Okay, let's check her out.
People engage with that.
It feels more trustworthy than the news to a lot of people.
It does, and I can't quite I have my own problems with like the media and like all of that, and that's I said in a video this morning, like now I can kind of be let loose, and like I definitely want to have some of those conversations going forward.
Yeah.
But I definitely think people see.
I'm gonna say it's justified about the age and what happened. The man been hit by a car twice. Well, before that, he been hit by a car already. So what the hell?
I think then that's like an extra
She shouldn't have been there.
thing on his end. Like, you can't just go and do this to people.
Yeah, but
in communities.
But I watch it. I haven't watched the whole video like you. I watched a lot of clips on there because he's posted a lot of them. But the style of it, I watch it. I'm like, oh no, like this is my style. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And like here I am, like feeling like what I'm doing is a good thing, but then it can be used.
Yeah.
So easily.
And there's no like checks and balances on content, or not many, and just social media in general.
Okay, so let's do a little recap here. Now, this is again Confronting Waltz's daughter on a podcast with another guy who has a podcast. They both are influencers, I suppose. They put out content the same way Nick Shirley does, but because Nick Shirley's content was effective and it impacted the Somalis who they want to defend, then it's a bad thing. But when they do it and maybe it'll hurt a conservative or something like that, it's fine. It's cool when they do it, it's a problem when not doing it. That's all I heard right there in that particular piece. Shout out to Nick Shirley. Hey, Nick, you are doing the Lord's work. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. All right, shout out to Nick. Now, guess who was on The View again? All right, was you already on there like a few weeks ago? Hey, Marjorie. Orange.
Right, she's in her car. Now, the lady with the phone, we're going to try to get into the car. Why are they outside the car? Why is she outside the car? She should be in the car, but that's what I'm saying. They on bullshit.
Orange woman back. Listen.
She shouldn't even be in the car.
Orange ornery. When you are officially out, which you should be right now, of government, just go to The View. Just go do that. That'd be fine. They'd love to have you ever since Ana Navarro had to go ahead and support Trump for the Maduro situation. Hey, get rid of Ana Navarro. Let her go.
All right, appreciate you, man. No problem.
And you
have a great evening.
Right on The View. You have everything. The soccer mom aesthetic, the orange skin tone, blonde hair. You're looking like Hollywood Hogan. You'd be a great fit on The View. But anyway, what did she say? Check it out.
I've been so blessed serving the district that I served. And
why don't you just stay there?
Well, I think when it comes down to the president that I helped get elected, the party that I donated to and represented, and having the president turn on me and calling me a traitor for standing with women.
Pause. Me. That's all I hear.
Yep.
What about your constituents? What about people in Rome and Dalton and everywhere else in northern Georgia? What about them? All I hear is me. What about them? Not really a big deal? That's fine.
Who were raped as teenagers, and then having no one in the party stand up for me. That was a high bar.
Right.
But really, when it
Vigilant
came
ICE
down
agents,
to
following the ICE agents, they shouldn't even done all that.
I'm used to.
That's not even their state. They even live in that state.
Because of the president's words. It's too much. Right. So, and I believe in term limits.
Yeah.
I've been.
Yeah, I do too. And you know what, Marjorie? There we can agree. I do agree with term limits. That is a great thing to have, for sure. Okay, so shout out to Marjorie Taylor Greene, Orange Woman Bad, on The View again. Hey, just go do that. Hang out with Tim Dillon on his podcast. That was a ridiculous
Right, Pablo,
Go on his
man.
podcast, go on The View, and just go on CNN and badmouth Trump for like a Mike Pence. Well, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Go in there and say that. You can make a good living doing that.
Right.
Your stock options that you had when you were in Congress. That's a different story. Not digress. Now, yesterday was the 5th anniversary of
Right, Mike, I've been saying it. The wife little party, I've been saying, telling her to drive off.
You know we got to show some cringe.
She charged her up too.
You can see right here, we got Nancy Pelosi at all of 1,087 years old, Chuck Schumer, the same age, and a few more of them. Check it out.
Oh, this is so sad. Come on, Chuck. This is terrible.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Wow.
All right, there we go. So that's the J6 anniversary on the steps of the Capitol. I mean, with the little candles singing. All right, that's
Right,
Democrats
cringe.
for you right there.
Shit.
That's Democrats for you right there. Hey, while Trump's out there, capturing dictators, making deals happen, getting oil, getting the economy back on track, they out there singing and carrying on. Okay, that's kind of what's happening. So yeah, you thought it was AI? Nope, sure wasn't. Sure wasn't. All right, let's keep going here. Now this guy, I have no idea who he is, but he says he's going to Mexico because all this MAGA stuff, all this stuff is just a little bit too much. All right, so let's check it on out. He looks like me if it was an alternative universe. Like if something happened, like something went wrong, and there was a little bit of a glitch in the system, and they just produced him instead of me. But anyway, let's watch.
All right, MAGA. You can have it. You can have the whole damn thing, the whole damn country. You and freaking Trump, the whole administration could go to hell.
Damn.
I've had enough of you guys. All I ever do is come in and ask questions. And you guys are just as mean as snakes, man. As mean as you can freaking be. We've had enough. My wife and I are selling our place. And we're moving. We're going to freaking move to Mexico, man.
Oh, wow.
I'm so tired of you guys. My wife is in the house right now, bawling her freaking eyes out because of you guys. What the hell's the matter with you? Where's your humanity?
Good, bro.
You can have it. I'll tell you what. Mark my words on this. Trump's going down. That whole administration is. And I'll watch it from afar. And furthermore, I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I'm going to be here for it. I'm going to be here for when the administration falls. You guys crawl into your little holes and you hide and try to act like you had nothing to do with it. Because they're going down. It's only a matter of time now. I can see it. We can all see it. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, there we go. So, bro, I thought you were going to Mexico.
I thought so too. He had me. That was a good one.
You're going to be in the rural areas.
What's up, Stabber? Thanks for joining in.
Living a life. But
like and subscribe.
You're going to stay right here and watch it burn. If you have such little faith in the country, why would you want to stay? If you thought that we were not going to succeed, why would you stay in a failing state like that? It doesn't make any sense. You think that if we just fail under Trump, you can vote in a Democrat and make it all better? Nah. The president you have, you want him or her to perform to their maximum. Hey, if it was Joe Biden in there or Kamala or that funny-looking dude with the Ozempic, if it's them, I want them to do well. I'm not a big fan of theirs, but I still want them to do well. So, yeah, shout out to him. Hey, I thought he was leaving. What happened? I thought he was leaving.
Yeah, he was trolling. That was a good troll.
It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Because you came to your senses. You out there huffing and puffing, came to your senses. Like, you know what? I was tripping. My bad. I'm not going nowhere. I'm just kind of letting out a little bit of steam. That's all that's happening right now. Okay, now look, going back to Mom Donnie, this is his aide, Cia Weaver. Listen, her name is spelled C-E-A. C-E-A. I'm not making that up. What is C or Cia? I don't know. Cia Weaver. She says that home ownership is an example of white supremacy. Meanwhile, her mom owns a home in Tennessee worth $1.6 million. Let's watch.
How you doing, Ching Ching?
Let's watch. And there we go.
Democratically controlled public housing is really important. And that's why when Raquel was talking about the communities and that she's describing, that, you know, that's a creative community where the people who are living there are like setting the agenda. And so, you know, people like home ownership because they like control, and that's been perverted by like deep racism and deep classism.
Thank you for joining in. So, thank you. Like and subscribe. Thank you.
Have a racist and classist society, and so that's like something we need to think about like deeply. But you know, to me it's about control, and why rent control is really important is because rent control alters the power dynamic between renters and who owns the building. And
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity.
Thank you.
Will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
So there you go. How do you guys feel about that? You know, property as an individual thing? Nah. Ownership? Nah. It's all about the collective. That sounds just like you'll own nothing and love it. That's kind of what that sounds like to me. So I'm not really a big fan, especially when your mom has that beautiful house worth $1.6 million in Tennessee. It's this do as I say, never as I do, always with these people. Always, always, always. Always. Okay, and they asked her something about that, actually, on Spectrum News. I guess it's like, in New York, they asked her about that. Like, hey, do you really believe that property is a tool of white supremacy and that property should not be an individual thing, it should be part of the collective? Let's watch this.
Something you'd said on Twitter about home ownership being a tool of white supremacy. I wanted to give you a chance to respond. You're not out of your mind, right?
I don't think I'm out of my mind. I think that some of those things are certainly not how I would say things today, and are regretful. But I do think my sort of decades of experience fighting for more affordable housing sort of stands on its own.
Something you'd said on.
Okay, so she's kind of like, well, if you're mad about the words I said, then okay, I'm sorry, but I still stand by what I said. I said what I said. That's what I heard. Don't worry about my wording, but I still said what I said. It's bad and it's wrong. My mom has a house, but don't worry about that because we're the privileged and the elites, and it shouldn't really be about the privileged and the elites. It should be about you guys. Am I going to sell it? I'm not going to sell anything, but I'm just saying, I don't really want to be privileged, although I am. That's how they think. It's about them doing whatever they want to do, but you must operate under a certain set of rules that they have for you, which strips freedom away. And that's not a place I really want to be at all. Now, this person is using the welfare money on tattoos.
Damn.
Okay. Gender, I suppose this is a woman, I guess. But y'all know, 2026, I don't know what's going on with these genders. And I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to presume there's a woman. And don't ask me why there's a cage in their backseat, because I don't want to know the answer. But anyway.
Of control. I'm a disabled person whose primary source of income is disability pension. I'm currently on my way to get the next session of my gorgeous chest tattoo done. How about we have a chat about why tattoos are so important to me and why I think it is absolutely worth it to spend part of my limited income on things like tattoos and piercings.
How you doing, Ashley? Right, the range.
It comes down to gaining a sense of control over my body. It's quite common when you are disabled to feel like you don't have any control over your body or over your life. Because, a lot of the times our bodies stop us from achieving the things we want to achieve and doing the things that we love to do. In my case, the majority of my disability started when I was 19.
Okay, Justin.
And they started pretty randomly. We still don't know exactly what caused them. My body just failed one day, and all of a sudden I lost my ability to do all of the things that I love to do and achieve any of the goals that I had. And that obviously left me feeling pretty helpless and incredibly frustrated and resentful of my body. For me, my appearance is one of
I did say I called your name, Justin. They didn't get a cuss about it.
I can't get it to be healthy and functional anymore, but I can get
I did
it
say
to be
thanks.
the way that I want.
Like and subscribe.
And I personally do that by getting piercings, by getting tattoos, and by dyeing my hair. All things that other people would say is a complete waste of money, but is absolutely essential to me and my mental health and my sense of self and body image. Being disabled is really hard, physically and mentally, and we sometimes need to do a little bit extra to make ourselves feel happy and comfortable within our own bodies.
Okay, there
That's
we
my
go.
way of agreeing with you. That's all that
Basically,
was.
what I heard was, you know what? Makes me feel good to get all these tattoos all over my face and this, well, not the piercings. It makes her feel good to get the piercings on their face and the tattoos all over her body. So it's okay to get that welfare money and use it for that. But see, here's the thing. People that work and who are not on these benefits don't necessarily have that option to go out there and do what you're doing. And they may be disabled too, and they may have struggles too.
Oh, man.
So they can't get what you're getting because they got to go out there and work. They're not given money to go do whatever they want to do. So I'm not really buying the whole thing. Oh, I got to get tattoos. Really? You got to get tattoos. That's part of your thing. So you're just going to take it upon yourself to use the money that you're getting to help you survive for luxury items, for feel-good things. I mean, what's next? You're supposed to be able to get a emotional support dog with the welfare money. How about a little bit of Amazon shopping? How about a Shein cart? Hey, let me use my welfare benefits for my Shein cart. I got to get this shirt and this pants and 1,000 pieces of other clothing that I'm not going to wear. The Amazon box going to be right on the ground for 2 weeks. I ain't going to open it because that helps my mental health. Yeah, I'm not really sure where that's going. I'm not really a fan of that. What do y'all think? Should welfare money go toward face piercings, body tattoos as part of a mental health thing if you're disabled? Y'all let me know. What you think? Okay, what do you guys think? Personally, like I say, people that are disabled or may not be disabled who are working very hard and they're not on benefits don't have that option. Okay, they don't have that option. Now, Venezuela, speaking about those might be a little bit handicapped, potentially. Venezuela protesters. Let's take a look.
Not another nickel, not another dime. Bombing Venezuela is a crime.
Let's go back. Hey, what do you think of when you see this person in this outfit? It's me, Mario. That's what I see right there. Where's Luigi at? Where is Luigi? Mario. Ain't no more games coming out, bro? Like, what's happening? Ain't no more games coming out? You got laid up on Nintendo? Ain't no more posters, movies, games? Matter of fact, you got a movie coming out. So why aren't you going to red carpets and doing interviews for the movie? Like, you out here leading protests? Come on, bro. Anyway.
Bombing Venezuela is a crime.
And look, hold on. You see the flags? Look at her sign. You got all the flags.
Ukraine.
Palestine. Is that Sudan? I can see another flag over there. What is that? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying it. Yeah, Sudan. Okay, so that's Sudan on the right. On the left, that's Palestine. On the bottom, that's Ukraine. And then on the right-hand side, that's Venezuela. So we got all the flags of all the places, all the things, all the protests are happening. All righty? And of course, you got this lady right here looking like Jenny from Forrest Gump. Looking like Jenny when she was with the Black Panther. Hey, the Black Panther era Jenny from Forrest Gump out there with the sign. You cannot make this stuff up. I promise you can. I promise you can.
You know, there's a chant that we use. We say, U.S. imperialist, #1 terrorist.
Now, who is this?
Don't know, but they are nice.
Because China
Nice
is
wooden
upset that what
flags. Yeah,
happened
that's
because
nice.
they want to continue to have the influence on Venezuela.
And there's a reason why we say that. We stand with the Venezuelan people and we demand that U.S. release President Maduro and First Lady Celia Flores.
Get your goof ass.
Maduro, free Flores.
Hey, say it in your language. Say it in Chinese. Like, don't play no games out here, lady. Say it in your language. I ain't gonna do no Chinese accent. I'm not racist. Say it in that rather than the English. I'm sorry.
The corrupt Trump administration is repeating the same mistakes as past U.S. presidents. This is another attempted U.S. military coup to prevent the people from ruling themselves. And the truth.
Hey, she got that R good. She got that R real good. Okay, hey, you know what? You're a pretty good speaker. You got that R. You nailed it.
Distribution of wealth and resource for all.
Going on. We know that he wants something from us, and honestly, we can't say like, oh, but he's stealing our oil, he's stealing the petróleo. Like, we haven't had it. The people in Venezuela haven't had it for years. He's not stealing it, he's taking it back, and he's helping us have it once again. The people in Venezuela didn't have it. They didn't. It was being stolen from us. It was being like, we had no money. They had no money. They had no oil. They had nothing. It was not something that we could have. So in reality, he's not really stealing anything. He's helping us, and then
Democrats are still mad.
So it looks like everyone who is protesting this are not Venezuelan. Now, there are some protests in Venezuela, but it's mostly like the loyalists. It's them. It's not the masses of people. It's not them. It's not 99% of the country. Okay, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, this was hilarious because speaking about Venezuela, Cuba should be next. I hope it's next. Shout out to Cuba. I know Marco wants to get that done because Marco Rubio is Cuban. But anyway, this podcast, I'm not quite sure what it is. The question is, hey, have you ever seen communism, socialism work? Have you seen it work? And if you have seen it work, give me one good example. Okay, you ready for this? Let's watch. Hold on, let's get some sound.
I want you to give me one example of socialism you think working well somewhere.
A good example of socialism working well somewhere. This is a really, really cool question. I think of Cuba in particular, very, very high literacy rate, number one. Number two, extremely strong commitment.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
So that's one example that I can think of that would resonate with pretty much anybody in our state who cares about education or healthcare. Would you disagree with that?
Cuba, really? Now, before I continue, hold on, I'm gonna continue. I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. Now, this guy, I think, is from Washington State. I don't know his name, but he's from Washington State. And I believe he's in office some kind of way in Washington State. All right, let's keep going here.
People flee on makeshift rafts and die in the ocean to flee Cuba for the United States.
Yeah, and I think that is something that absolutely we have to be sensitive to. But you asked me about institutions that are working really, really well.
I asked you about places socialism is working, and you chose a country that people will risk their lives to flee from to this country. There's a reason for that, Sean.
There was a revolution in Cuba. That is correct.
They still do it to this day.
Right.
They show up on the beaches of Miami.
Right.
Because they would rather be here and would risk their lives in shark-infested water to flee the country that you just gave me an example of.
And if the situation were reversed, the injuries and the ailments that they sustain as a result of migrating to a place where they believe that they're going to be better off. I believe that they could be treated in a much better way than American healthcare facilities are currently able to treat people. So that's one example that I can think of socialism.
So why don't you just leave America then, dude?
Health and education.
All right.
Leave America, dude.
Wow, Cuba. I never would have thought that somebody would say Cuba is a good example of socialism. Sir, Cuba is not a good example. You're talking about starvation, poverty,
right?
Power, infrastructure, all of that stuff is just not really there. People
can't even
are
get
trying
gas.
to escape. They're trying to get out of Cuba. They're trying to do whatever they can to get out of Cuba because, again, it doesn't work. Communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, however you want to dress it up, it does not work. It fails. And Cuba has failed. And now, ever since Venezuela is about to start to change and get more toward democracy in a true country that's not dependent upon some communist ideals of the past into a real capitalist society, Cuba is saying, hey, we could be next. Because Venezuela was propping up Cuba, although Cuba is not doing well still. Cuba would do better if it was allowed to just be its own place without the communism. And you named them as an example, bro. That's crazy. And the person, this guy right here, again, this is in Washington State, and the reporter, one of you guys said that's Brandy Cruz out there in Seattle, local reporter. So shout out to Brandy Cruz, Kruse. Shout out to her. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Now, this is Sneeko. I don't know too much about him. I don't watch streams. I'm not 15 years old, but he's like really popular among young people. And he's out there to protest for, and he has a question about Maduro, Venezuela, or whatever. Check it out.
He was captured? Yes.
What's the difference?
Point of view, I can see
Thanks for the like. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you.
Because he lost the election, but once you get in power with socialism, they never leave power.
I understand what you're saying, but as an American, like I don't care about your elections. If you won the election or not, that doesn't matter. Trump brought troops to your country, kidnapped your president. You say it's captured, whatever.
I don't know what percentage of you, but to all the Venezuelans that you ask, they are so happy.
I know.
Because the freedom is just right there.
But my point is, it doesn't matter to Americans whether or not Venezuelans are happy.
Oh, not to you as an American, that's your point of view. But many other Americans, the quiet ones, they are happy. I grew up in the Venezuela, where Venezuela was the jewel of South America.
Okay.
Socialism, excuse me, are you Venezuelan? From where are you from? Okay, I'm not, okay, yeah, I am.
Got a mask on. Take off that diaper off your face.
So if you didn't hear, because there's kind of a lot going on, she's like, look, I grew up in Venezuela when it was the jewel of South America. It was a great place. But then when Chavez came in, and the Russians and the Chinese and the Iranians and the communism, when that came in, things declined. It went down. Our quality of life, our country fell. And we've been waiting 26 years to get back on track. And Trump does what no one else is going to do. And then some are going to say, well, why can't they do it on their own? Well, you think they could just go and just commit an ouster of the president and the 2,000 generals? You think you just do that without having any kind of external help? How? What planes, rockets, and boats and whatnot you got to be able to do that? Let's be serious. They're going to need the U.S. or somebody else to come in and help. A bigger power than them. And they just happen to be us. And it helps us because they're in our hemisphere.
Right.
China, Russia, Iran, if that consortium, they're able to get
Thank you guys for joining in.
and they're able to get
Hope you guys like it.
Cuba, that's just too
Like
much
and subscribe.
influence in our backyard. It's a national security concern. So that's what that is. But shout out to her. And there's always somebody that's not Venezuelan arguing that Venezuela was a bad decision. Always. I've yet to see a Venezuelan actually get on TV or camera or something to speak and say that it was a bad thing that this happened. Not even Ana Navarro from The View said that it was a bad thing that they got Maduro.
Right.
Everyone says the exact same thing. Let's keep going here.
probably saw some Democrats, including the new mayor of New York, Zoran Magdani, literally declare that what Trump did on Saturday morning was illegal. What do you think of that?
Again, if people don't live through it, they won't know how desperate us Venezuelans are for a change. I know they're talking about Trump only wanting the oil, but everybody's there for the oil. Russia, Iran, everybody's there for the oil already. China. So if Trump needs the oil to give us freedom, then that's a price we're willing to pay just so that we have freedom and make a change. In 26 years, nobody has done anything for our country except for Trump. So that's a price that he's the only one that has made an action on it, and he's the only one that has delivered his promise. So if that's the price we need to pay for it, then that's okay. Venezuela has a lot of other resources. It's not just oil. We have minerals. We have so many other things that once our country is better, then we, as Maria Corina always say, we will be an amazing country. We just need that change and somebody to help us for it.
There we go. There it is. There it is. That's what you're going to hear from the Venezuelans. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. That's what they're telling everybody. That's what they're telling me. I done got messages. I done got all kind of DMs, emails, everything. People telling me the exact same thing. Like almost verbatim. Almost verbatim, the exact same thing. So yeah, shout out to the Venezuelans who appreciate what's really going on. Okay. Hold on. I see super chat right here. Out in Ander, I know I'm turning it up, says, imagine having a luxury. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read that toward the end because it went past me. It went past me. But I'm gonna read super chat at the end. But thank you for that super chat. I'm gonna read that at the end of the videos. All right, let's keep going here.
Yep, like and subscribe.
Where we at? Oh, I gotta show. This is Ana Navarro from The View.
You gotta show
Not
that.
on The View, but from The View.
Cause she was happy. She's happy.
Maduro and praising Trump for doing what he did.
For me, it's a good day because Maduro is out. He is a son of a bitch. I hope this sends a message.
You're right. Yep. Venezuela's gonna vote Democrat. Vote Republican now. They're gonna vote red.
The way Trump did it.
Democrat Party mad. They didn't do it.
There was no way that it was going to end any other way because once he started bombing boats, and we've bombed boats and alleged drug boats and killed over 115 people. I think Trump thought getting rid of Maduro was going to be easy and Maduro was going to scare easily. He didn't. It took him doing this. So yeah, he did it without congressional authorization. This was an act of war. All of these things, but it's now done. I think it doesn't escalate from here because the objective of this was to get Maduro out. And certainly there's an oil component. Certainly there's a lot of Trump ego in this about, being able to do it. But it's done. And I, for one, I am very happy that Maduro is out. And I pray and hope for the freedom and peace.
There we go. So again, that is Ana Navarro from The View. And she's from Nicaragua. So that gives you an idea. That's like right there. So she understands the situation. Everybody that's like Latin American or Hispanic in general, even like Spanish people from Spain, they're all saying the same thing. I've yet to see many people come out and say this was a bad thing who are actually from the area or they're Hispanic and they understand what's going on. Very few people say that. And that's why I did my videos on Sunday. Shout out to you guys who watch those compilations. I made sure to have one in Spanish, all Spanish, the title is Spanish, the description is Spanish, everything Spanish, because we're going to say, oh, well, everybody speaking English, they're not really Venezuelan. Okay, I get you straight Venezuelan speaking in Spanish, telling you exactly what's going on. And then new videos all in English are the same thing. People say, oh, well, it's not everybody. Some disagree. You might have some disagree, but how many is that really? Now, speaking about Venezuela, here's our future president, Marco Rubio, talking about what's happening and his role. Hey, have you guys been seeing these Marco memes? They got Marco pretty much wearing everything. Hold on, I'm gonna show you a couple of memes. Then we're gonna keep on with the video. But they got Marco wearing everything because he has so many hats. It's crazy. Okay, hold on. Let me just load a few up. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, yeah, here we go. Here's a good one. So they got Rubio wearing everything. A Canadian Mountie, the Shah of Iran, the Viceroy of Venezuela, the Minnesota governor, the CEO of Hilton. I don't know, you got to go to Greenland. And a lot of these are kind of right because he is the point man behind the whole Venezuela thing. And he was requested by Denmark and Greenland to talk because Marco said Marco said that we want to buy Greenland. Okay, eventually we want to buy Greenland. So he's pretty much wearing all the hats. And he's doing a good job. So shout out to Marco again. Hopefully the future president. I love it. You guys like those? There we go. All right. So here he is talking about Venezuela. And then we get into Greenland and a little bit more about Greenland. Let's watch.
Well, there's a lot of operational details that can't be discussed publicly, obviously, for obvious reasons. So as we move forward, we'll describe our process, which is a threefold process in Venezuela. I've described it to them now. Step one is the stabilization of the country. We don't want it descending into chaos. Part of that stabilization, and the reason why we understand and believe that we have the strongest leverage possible, is our quarantine. As you've seen today, 2 more ships were seized. We are in the midst right now and in fact about to execute on a deal to take all the oil. They have oil that is stuck in Venezuela. They can't move it because of our quarantine and because it's sanctioned. We are going to take between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. We're going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed in a way that benefits the Venezuelan people, not corruption, not the regime. So we have a lot of leverage to move on the stabilization front. The second phase will be a phase that we call recovery. And that is ensuring that American, Western, and other companies have access to the Venezuelan market in a way that's fair. Also, at the same time, begin to create the process of reconciliation nationally within Venezuela so that the opposition forces can be amnestied and released and from prisons or brought back to the country and begin to rebuild civil society. And then the third phase, of course, will be one of transition. Some of this will overlap. I've described this to them in great detail. We'll have more detail in the days to follow. But we feel like we're moving forward here in a very positive way.
There we go. So that's him talking about everything we got going on with Venezuela. And the next thing will be Greenland.
Your comments to lawmakers, does the U.S. intend to buy Greenland? Does the U.S. intend to buy Greenland? Can you clarify your comments to lawmakers this week?
Well, that's always been the president's intent from the very beginning. He said it very early on. I mean, this is not new. He talked about it in his first term, and he's not the first U.S. president that has examined or looked at how could we acquire Greenland. There's an interest there. But so I just reminded them of the fact that not only did Truman want to do it, but President Trump's been talking about this since his first term.
One put out a statement last night saying that the military option is the military option is on the table. So is the administration really willing to risk the NATO alliance by potentially moving ahead?
Guys,
military option.
what I think the White House said yesterday is what I will tell you now, and I've always said. The president always retained the option. Every president, not this president, every president always retains the option. I'm not talking about Greenland. I'm just talking about globally. If the president identifies a threat to the national security of the United States, every president retains the option to address it through military means. As a diplomat, which is what I am now, and what we work on, we always prefer to settle it in different ways. That included in Venezuela. We tried repeatedly to reach an outcome here that did not involve having to go in and grab an indicted drug trafficker. Those were unsuccessful, unfortunately.
There we go. So again, that is our future president, Secretary of State right now, Marco Rubio, and we got Secretary of War Pete Hegseth in the background. Shout out to Pete, doing a good job. Hey, Pete, if that was you, the operation, fantastic. Very good. Very, very good. All right, now this is an older Nick Shirley video. I believe it was last year he did this. This is not recent. This is like a little bit older. Nick went to Greenland. Listen, Nick, I've been a big fan of Nick since the beginning. Since I first saw him, he goes everywhere and just talks to the people and gets really good information. So this is an older Nick Shirley video where he went to Greenland and he was asking people, hey, what about Trump getting purchased? What are your thoughts? Let's watch some of this.
I'm here in Greenland. This kid's got a MAGA hat on. What's your message to Donald Trump? Fight Greenland. Fight Greenland. Fight Greenland. Fight Greenland. No more Danish. No more Danish. We don't like Danish people.
Okay, so you heard what they said. Buy Greenland. No more Danish. We don't like the Danish people. Now, obviously, these are not Danish people, but these are what you would call indigenous people who lived in Greenland before the Europeans came and colonized them. That's what happened. So people talking about, Trump can't buy this sovereign country. What sovereign country? What you talking about? Denmark? What do you mean? Denmark is not Greenland. Greenland is Greenland. It's a territory owned by Denmark. So Denmark, come up off that. Hey, how much you want? Y'all need the money anyway. How much you want? Let me get that. Y'all can't control it. We can put a military base on it, and that's fine. But we need to really have like some serious control. So there we go. The locals are like, yo, we not with the Danish. They got MAGA hats on. Hey man, come on, America. That's what they're saying. Now I'm not saying all of those on Greenland will feel the same way, but there are some Greenlanders who would like for the U.S. to go ahead and purchase them. So what do y'all think? Would that be a good idea, bad idea? Now, Greenland is very similar to Venezuela because if we don't try to purchase Greenland and if we're not successful, China, Russia, Iran, China and Russia already got ships up there right now. They're already circling it with big ships, big battleships. They're already right there. So if we don't do anything, something will be done. Same thing with Venezuela. Right when the whole Maduro thing happened, the Chinese delegation was there. They were already there like that day when we did that. So there we go. Come off your heritage. Your heritage? What you mean come off your heritage? You talking to me? Again, Greenland is a place that the Danish colonized. So what heritage? Heritage of the Danish who were not from there, or of the indigenous people who were already there before the Danish came? I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. Now, this is a video from about 4 days ago where Trump was talking about the whole Venezuela thing and the endless wars happening across the world. This is a really good piece to listen to. Let's check it out right quick, shall we?
But we can't take a chance after having done this incredible thing last night of letting somebody else take over, where we have to do it again. We can do it again too. Nobody can stop us. There's nobody that has the capability that we have. You know, when I watch that war in Russia going on and on and on and everybody dying, it's like, it's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible. It's really horrible.
Could you tell us?
It is primitive. The tip is over right there. But it is primitive because it's like, look, okay, this endless war over years and years and years, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions dead, for what? For what? We were able to go into Venezuela, get them up out of there in 90 minutes. It was like going down the street, pick up something to eat, and come right back home. Okay, going down to the Buc-ee's, get a chicken sandwich, and coming right back to the crib. Just in and out, thief in the night. Ain't gonna be no endless war, years and years, a whole country dying, and military industrial complex getting built up. Nah. Quick strike. Iran, quick strike. All of these things, quick strikes. Now, some are going to say, but there could be consequence. Well, there could be, but if we do nothing, there could be consequence too. But as far as I can see, we got him out of there immediately. And you know what? Saddam Hussein, like, what's going on with, why are these, like, dictators of these places looking like the same? I don't understand what that is. Is there a certain dictator skin they put on? A dictator costume, a dictator hairstylist? Hey, you know what, Maduro, I was Saddam Hussein's hairstylist. Now I'm going to come to your jank. Okay, get your nice big thick mustache and a nice big piece of hair on top. Okay, cool, great, we're good money. Now you're ready to go out there and face the world as a dictator, which is Saddam Hussein haircut and your Muammar Gaddafi type situation. But anyway, I agree with what Trump said about that. This endless war, hundreds of thousands dead, is primitive, and we need to move beyond that, in my humble opinion. Got to move beyond that. All right. Now, let's keep on going here. Let's keep on going. Mom Donnie talking about the fares are going to be free. Wasn't that what I heard? We're going to have free buses. Now, was the free bus thing going to be for all buses or just some buses? I don't understand. But let's look at this right here. Rates for the bus are going up immediately.
Hi guys, from the New York City bus. For Mayor Mamdani, he promised us a free ride, but guess what we got instead? Higher bus fares. Yes, that is right. Today, the price of this bus went up to $3. You know why? Because even with this price increase, the New York City buses and subways are barely able to function. The mayor of New York City has actually never had control over the transportation. That is controlled by the state. Yes, that's right, the governor. Mamdani, he lied to all of you, and guess who's paying the price? All of us, literally.
All right, there we go. So to be fair, the price was $2.90 before this, so $2.90 to $3. So a 10-cent raise.
Like and
But I
subscribe.
thought it was going to be free. Now, would it really be funny is if you raised the price and then had some of the routes free. So all you did was just make those who are not taking those routes pay for the routes that are free. That'd be hilarious. But it'll probably be an all-around-the-board raise with no free buses at all. Despite what Zoran promised, it ain't really going to happen. Now, here's Zoran going to a rent-controlled apartment, okay, and expecting how there's not really much work done. Things are left in disarray and ramshackle because when you have a rent-controlled apartment, how can a landlord afford to make repairs? You have to be able to increase the rent because the cost of maintaining property increases with time.
When did this happen? A year?
More than years.
Mayor Zoran Mamdani inspecting broken floor tiles in an apartment on Clarkson Avenue in Prospect Lovers Gardens, getting a first-hand look at the deteriorating conditions, from an eroding bathtub surface to a rust-covered, corroded bathroom pipe and red paint splashed about.
And you told the landlord about that?
Yes.
And what was the response?
Or some numbers, but nobody want to do anything about it.
Residents in this same building and in others owned by the landlord Pinnacle Realty say they've experienced similar conditions, from leaking bathroom ceilings to moldy drywall. Tenant unions rallying in response, demanding stronger tenant protections. On his first day in office, Mamdani made his first major policy announcement, signing 3 executive orders aimed at protecting tenants and fast-tracking housing across the city. He said this building, along with 92 others owned by the same landlord, is currently in bankruptcy proceedings and set to be auctioned off to a new owner, one who also ranks among the city's worst landlords.
In those buildings alone, there are more than 5,000 open hazardous violations and 14,000 complaints. This is an untenable situation. So today we are announcing that we will be taking action in the bankruptcy case, stepping in to represent the interests of the city and the interests of the tenants and say, once and for all, who this government will be fighting for.
Wow.
The mayor also reestablishing the city's office
What's going to make controlling?
with a mission to defend tenants' rights and intervene quickly when they face illegal living conditions. It's a step that gives tenants like Mildred Ross hope.
To hear this executive order is something we're really excited about.
Okay, so look, the thing about it is the problem with these places is that they're rent controlled. So it doesn't matter who they get sold to. It doesn't matter what you do, unless you're able to find some money from somewhere that is not being given by the tenants, then you're gonna have the same conditions. You know, and you're talking about, okay, let's just take it over and run it as the city. Let it be city run. Let NYCHA run it. The New York City Housing Authority. Okay, NYCHA buildings are gonna be the worst buildings. The problem is the lack of money. It's got to come from the tenants. And if not from the tenants, it's got to come from the city and or state. But that'll just cause taxes to rise up. And if the monies are not being spent appropriately, then it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same conditions. It's not going to be any different. Simple as that. Whether it's, roaches, rats, all of that good stuff. Nah, I'm good. I am super good. All right, now just a quick thing right here. Have you guys seen this? So the White House has released a new food pyramid. Okay, hold on. Let me just show it a little bit better here. Hold on. We got a brand new food pyramid. Okay. And it says eat real food. Now this, I love it. The old food, hold on, let me show you the old food pyramid. Let me show you the old food pyramid, the one that we saw in school. And of course, these are recommendations. It's not like you have to do it. But here's the old food pyramid. Let me see if I can get a good picture. Y'all give me a second right quick. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, there we go. Food pyramid. So here's the old one. All right, here's the old one. You know, and they have, okay, if you don't know what the food pyramid is, it's like, this is what they recommend that you get throughout your day. But the kind of foods you consume. All right, and at the bottom, you see this is like the biggest part of the pyramid. This is like the basis, your grains and wheat and flour and potatoes and stuff like that. They want that to be the biggest piece in the old food pyramid. At the top, they want the fats and the oils to be limited and sparing. And then they got like red meat, sausage, all that kind of stuff. You see what's going on with the food pyramid. Okay, now let's go back to what they put out, the new one. Okay, so it's upside down now. So we have your protein, dairy, healthy fats. So you got your steak, your cheese, your chicken, your salmon. I love that salmon. That looks good right there too. You got some beef, milk, olive oil, green beans. Over there we got vegetables, broccoli, carrots, peas, tomatoes. So that pear, cabbage, fruit. And as you get further down the pyramid toward the bottom, that's like you should have less of that than you do at the top. So the top, that should be
right. No sugary, no sugar.
That's pretty much how I eat. A lot of healthy fats, fruits. I got my avocado right there. I love it.
The oven is backwards, yeah.
And then as you get more toward the butter and the really sugary type of fruits, less of that, but still eat some of that too.
How you doing, Simone?
Whole grains, they want you to have less of the whole grains because a lot of our diet
Thanks for joining in.
is consistent of processed food, which is based on a lot of these whole grains. Okay, a lot of breads and pastas and stuff like that. You know, white rice, heavily enriched flour, stuff like that is going on. High fructose corn syrup, a lot of that could kind of fit into that category as well. So what do y'all think? Is that a good way to go about it? Not so good? What do you guys normally do? Is it like this or is it the other way around? What's going on? You don't agree with the meat part? I think it makes sense. I think it does make sense, yeah. Personally, I'm more of a salmon guy. So that's going to be my part of it. I'm not really a red meat kind of person. And if I do eat red meat, it's sparingly, like a little bit of it. But I eat that salmon like I'm a hog. I love that salmon. That's like a superfood for me. Olive oil, I'm not really a milk person, milk or cream. I do eat eggs occasionally, but not as much. Up here is where I pretty much stay.
Gotta have your protein.
And down here, I have less of that. So I'm already pretty much like that. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's keep on going here. Let's keep on rocking. Now, Candace, right quick. I just seen what's going on with Candace. Now, look, I'm not really into the Candace stuff, the drama, whatever. I'm not really into that. Yeah. That's not my thing. But let me tell you guys what's going on with Candace. Let me just tell
Thank
you
you
this.
for staying with me. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
So Candace Owens, at one point, you guys know, worked for Daily Wire. When she worked for them, she had a YouTube page, a social media that they owned, okay? Now, she put the content out while on Daily Wire on these pages. The last piece of content was like March 24 or something like that. It's been quite a while. So what happened, a lot of you guys may have been following old channels and you saw a trailer pop up talking about just going to the Daily Wire. Well, this is an old trailer that they put up as a new release, premiering it. So what they're trying to do is get attention to these channels because they want to start a new show, I presume, on those channels with somebody else, a Gen Z intern who will make fun of her and Tucker on the show. Her name is Maddie or Madison, I believe. That's her name. But anyway, so let me show you what they did. And then I'm going to show you. So look, this is the Candace Owens podcast. This is an old and active channel that the Daily Wire still own, and they made it active and they put this trailer out. And then you see what it says right here, previously aired 3/9/21. Why are you showing this, almost 5-year-old trailer again?
Are we good, guys? Are we rolling? In this age of propaganda, the media has done a really good job of creating a caricature of Candace Owens.
So I ain't gonna play the whole thing because it's an old trailer, but you get the idea. This was the launch of the Daily Wire show back in 2021. And then you can see what it says right here. It said this account is from before the termination of Candace Owens. Daily Wire is attempting to do an impersonation account and did not list this ex-profiler's parody, in which is designed to deceive people into following before a bait and splishing of the user. Right. So, hey, follow this channel, and what you're going to get in return is somebody else. Bait and switch. Daily Wire, I don't know what's really going on. I don't like that type of stuff. Some may not like Candace, but what are we doing? So Candace had responded to this and said that it's like a crazy ex, dealing with a crazy ex. And Daily Wire took the piece of her podcast where she said that, and then they put out another video on that same channel.
When you break up with someone and you have a crazy ex, that was how it felt like being fired from Daily Wire. Daily Wire.
And the reason why she said that, to go back, the reason why she said that is because after she got fired by the Daily Wire, they were still following her to places. They were watching all of her videos, sending videos to people, sending clips to people, going to events where she was at, suing her, all kind of stuff. It was a lot. Normally, when somebody fires you, that's it. You don't talk to them no more. But in this case, it was not quite like that. And you know why? Because Candace, whether you love her or hate her, is a cash machine, big money machine, a viral machine. It's too much money. And Daily Wire are having a hard time being able to make it with just Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro. That's not going to be enough. You got to have star power like Candace. So if you can't have Candace because she's talking about the Jays, all kinds of stuff, well, how about you just capitalize on the previous work you did and have a new person come on there and make fun of her?
Like genuine.
Ron Jones says, "Do you only like Candace because she's black? Are you retarded? Are you honestly special? Like, it's not even about me liking Candace or not. I'm just telling you the story about what's happening. Just shut up and watch the video. How about that?"
Really feel like when you break up with someone and you have a crazy ex, that was how it felt like being fired from the Daily Wire. Daily Wire, the Daily Wire, the Daily Wire, the Daily Wire.
So this is them playing the compilation of how many times you said the Daily Wire. So they're saying that she's the crazy ex. Back and forth, bickering, drama. And you know what? This is why I tell y'all that I don't watch female content creators that talk. If I follow a young lady on the internet, she don't say nothing at all. Yeah, she don't talk at all for the most part. I don't, because what you're going to get with women, if they're actually women, biological, and they're not a bodega or nothing like that, you're going to get some cattiness if you hear them talk a lot. The View and Megyn Kelly and Candace are all like that, and it's okay. But I'm not interested in that kind of content. Now, if you watch a Rachel Maddow, a Bull Dagger, looking like Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Arch Manning, all the Mannings in the face, then you may not get the cattiness. Why? Because she's a Bull Dagger. She's not very feminine. But if you get a feminine woman talking, it's going to be catty, which is what's happening right now at the Daily Wire. Okay, now look, let me show you a clip from the new show that's going to come out about Candace, but it's not Candace. All right. Hold on. This says ABL is distressed that people do their thing. I don't understand what that means. I don't get you. I don't understand.
Don't know.
Flag is a hexagonal beehive.
All right, let's try this. Let's really try this, okay? Chronologically. Utah adopts the beehive symbol in 1948. Fast forward 175 years later, people start using bee language.
So what you're watching right now is a sneak peek, a leak of the new Daily Wire show, in which this lady right here, this young lady, Madison, she will be reacting to Candace Owens videos and also Ben Shapiro videos. Okay, that's her purpose, that's her role. And I think they're gonna launch her show on Candace's old podcast. So they're getting a bunch of clicks and views on the old podcast channel from people curious about what's happening. They'll just switch the branding to her. You see? And I don't like that. I think that's really slimy, actually, from Deadly Wire. I don't like that at all. If you want to find a new person, put her on a new channel. Don't put the new person on an old channel owned by somebody else in which you're trying to make fun of that old person. I don't like that.
As codes, and I communicate with them by dancing. People that use the code, they're clearly communists because communists work together. They follow a hive mind. Yes, queen. Underground. Communists. Mormons live in Utah. I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I know what's going on here.
So are you guys going to watch this? Is that going to be on your go-to shows to watch in 2026? I hope not. I really, really hope that y'all are not into that. But hey, I'm not here to hate. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, if that is what people are watching, I don't know what to tell you. But I told y'all that already. I told y'all, look, Candace and stuff like that. Shout out to Candace. But if you're not like a woman or a child, I don't see why you would watch that. I don't really get it. But hey, what do I know? Guy says, I'm a straight man, so no waste of time, cringing hard, carry less, cut the cringe, it would not be my algorithm. Backup says, Deadly Wire taking more L's. The person they put to replace the other girl can't get any views. Exactly. And they were trying to have her be like Brett. Some of y'all watch Brett. And I never watched Brett because, I mean, how do I look? Being on my bed and my feet up. Hey, Abia, what are you watching? I'm watching a teenage white girl on my phone talk about politics. Oh, okay, cool. How does that? Anyway, I don't care if she's black, white, or whatever. Don't nobody get offended. I'm not watching no women talk about politics, and definitely not a teenage Britney Spears looking. I don't really understand the purpose. But yeah, that's what's happening with the Deadly Wire. So if you saw some of that, press your timeline. That is a reason. I polluted you. I polluted you. And Candace defended Brett. Candace is a Brett fan. Candace says that the person is trying to be like Brett, but cannot be like Brett because Brett is mature. Now, I don't know a lot about Brett. I never watched any of that. That's not really my thing. That ain't my cup of tea. So if she's mature, that's cool. But if not, hey, it is what it is. Hey, women can't give it 2 weeks. Hey, you know what? It might last a little while. It may last a while. I'm not sure how long that is, but it may last a while, maybe long enough to fail, because they're gonna put money into it as well. One thing about all these places, they're gonna put money into what they produce. And look, as I'm right here right now,
thank you.
Moving. This is part of the reason why I never signed to any company or management, anything like that, because when things get weird, it gets really weird. They're using your old stuff against you, taking you to court, all kind of extra stuff. They don't want you to leave. They want to keep getting money with you. They try to control what you say, control what you do. I can't really function that way. That's just not really what I'm into. I gotta have my freedom. And if there is no freedom, then I don't understand what we have. I don't even know what we're doing if there's no freedom. Hold on, let me go on. She's 24. You talking about Brett or the young lady? I mean, hey, she could be 24. That's fine. I can't do nothing with it. No way. That ain't really. I should get my own cable channel. I like being independent, doing my own thing. Because with the cable channel, If I can have my own cable channel and run it and not be answer to no boss, then sure, let's do that all day long. But anything beyond that, I'm good. It's just too much to deal with. Too much going on. Too much nonsense. Okay. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining in. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe.
Okay,
Thank you.
I got a few more here that I want to get to before we get to some calls. All right. Where we at? This is, hold on, there we go. So this guy, speaking about food from earlier, the food pyramid, all that good stuff, this guy says that fast food is not cheaper.
Thank you.
Okay, you can see he's at the job site. Okay, he's at the job site with the headset on and everything. He's going to show you that fast food is not cheaper from his point of view. Check it out.
Fast food is not cheaper than Whole Foods, and I'm going to show you proof right now. So right here we have the menu. So if you do a Whopper with cheese and you make that into a combo and you make that, let's say average, you say medium, that's already $15 right there. And look at this. Look how much ground beef is. $20 for a pack of 3, 93.7. So yes, on face value, this is technically more expensive, but imagine how many meals you can make with it. If you cut each of these in half, that means there's 6 pieces, and you can have each half go to 1 meal. That means you can have 6 meals and have like 40 grams of protein each meal just from half of one package. So you're telling me you're not willing to invest another $4 to $5 to have quadruple the amount of meals you can make? It's crazy. Fast food.
And people say that fast food is cheaper because they don't understand how to shop. You just kind of go and just, and really it's a lie. Ultimately, it's a lie because people, they want to feel like justified in getting the fast food. It's not cheaper, especially now. It's very expensive, and people just want to get the fast food, so they tell themselves it's cheaper. That's the bottom line here. Yeah. Like, if you're spending $15 to get, like, one little thing, you can spend the same $15 in the grocery store and get much more. I can get my whole meal that I normally get. I could get 2 of those meals for that same price of one fast food order. And the fast food not going to be nutritious. It's not really going to be all that good. The food that I cook with store-bought ingredients from scratch is going to be much better tasting, more nutritious, and cheaper. So it's not cheaper. Go to the grocery store and cook. And then especially when y'all get DoorDash, oh my goodness, because it's one thing to go to the drive-thru and pay for that. Then you want to go do DoorDash and get delivery fees and the tip. You spending $25 on Chick-fil-A.
Thank you, Ashley.
That is not cheaper.
Well, Ash 7. Thank you, Ash 7.
All around the board, it is worse. For sure. Okay, she has a farm store and she makes $1,500 a week.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Okay. Thank you.
$1,500 a week from a farm store.
Farm store makes me $1,500 in a week. Let's go in and see how we did today. Okay, so my farm store has been open for about almost a month now. This weekend will mark 1 month. During the weekdays, I have been averaging about close to $100 a day. The weekends, I have been averaging anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. During the weekdays, I like to do individual type things for like breakfast, so people that go to school or people that go to work can just stop by and grab something quick. So for example, this week I had fried apple pies, which are completely sold out. We had individual cinnamon rolls, which are completely sold out. We had blueberry streusel muffins. I only have 2 left and I made 12, I believe. We had another customer. Just put out these spiced bran muffins today. I also put out pumpkin spice streusel muffins, which are really good if you love pumpkin.
I don't know where she's at, but I need to go there because, hey, that right there, if I go into a store and I see little individually wrapped things like that, $3, oh yeah, I'm getting those. Like, let me get one of those right there with the frosting, and then let me get another one right there. Yeah, I'm gonna be. It's so dangerous for me to go in there because already I got a little issue with the cookies. I'm going through I'm in rehab right now for the cookies. So pray for me and help me get beyond my cookie addiction. Okay, if I go in there, it's gonna be a wrap. Yeah, I'm gonna be all 1,000 of your weekly sales for sure. On a Saturday, man, please.
The muffins, which are really good if you love pumpkin. Also noticed that this week I had bunch of workers come in. Yes, a bunch of the men at the mills have been talking about my place because I'm maybe 5 to 7 minutes from the mill. In my cash box for today, I had $25. The rest is between Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, so I averaged about $75 today. This weekend, we are going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of festive stuff, a few new products. I also have this sign up to where when people come in during the weekdays, they know to come on the weekends to see our full menu so they can get a chance to get in bulk items too. So if you are in the Sweetwater, Alabama area this weekend, make sure you come by. We're going to be open Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to dark. And my hours for the weekdays are from 6 a.m. to dark as well. Come see us.
Hey, you know what? Alabama's right next door. I might make a day trip. I might make a day trip. Alabama's right there, right next door. Hey, I'll be there in 2 hours. Don't worry about it. I've driven further for less. When I go to Virginia, my first order of business, hey, mama, okay, cool, but let's go to the Filipino food store immediately, right away. I done got on a plane for some food. So, yeah, I'll drive 3 hours. It's nothing. There's no problem at all. Most mundane says ABL is the reason the baked goods and confections are in the front of the grocery store. Yes. Hey, man, going to Walmart and they got them cookies in the front. I got to go like a different way. I got to go cut around the corner. I can't go right past the little area. The little pies they got, them 50-cent pies that Walmart got. Oh. Man, listen. Because it's like, it's so small, you can just like, it's not a whole big thing. It's not intimidating. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going straight to in the F-150. That's right, Otto. Hey, I'm going to Sweetwater with the F-150, and I'm going to load the whole bed up with everything that we got in there, for sure. That is what I'm going to do. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rock and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, one thing I got a few random ones here that I didn't show before. This is a doctor who says all she's seen over the past 4 years is that not taking health insurance means that the costs are lower. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let her tell it. She can tell it better than I can. So she's running to a comment that says, so how much for an advanced test like an MRI, CT scan, cardiac stress testing, etc.? Because it shows hospital ER visits aren't discounted. Let's watch.
Great question. One thing I've learned not taking health insurance for the last 4 years as a doctor is that the only thing you're guaranteed having commercial insurance is that you're going to be charged more for things. So what do patients do who don't have insurance, who need these things above? They just pay cash and they get it for cheaper. And their doctor does not have to jump through hoops to try to get it approved, only to have them be charged more than what it costs. For example, if a patient needs an MRI of their spine, normally insurance companies require them to do physical therapy, try medications, and the doctor has to do what is called a prior authorization, pre-certification, or a peer-to-peer. To basically do all these things to get the insurance company to say, okay, we'll let you have this test, but we're going to charge you $1,000 instead of the $280 that it costs cash. So all these things above are actually pretty affordable if you just pay cash for them. And that's why I think that a lot of people are opening their eyes to health insurance being quite a scam, as a matter of fact, and they're opting to just go cash pay and get the discount.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I do. Like, I have a plan that's for quote-unquote catastrophic. That's not that much. And if I need anything else, I'll just pay in cash. If I need to get an eye exam, I just go to the place and pay cash. I don't need health insurance to get an eye exam. You go to Walmart or any kind of like eye doctor place, $75 for an eye exam. And then once I get my eye exam and I got my prescription, I'm good money. I can just take my prescription and go anywhere. I don't have to get my glasses from the actual doctor I go to. All I need is my script. And really, once I got my script, I'm good. They got a little game set up with a lot of American, eyeglass places. You gotta have you gotta have a prescription from the past year, at least 1 year old. But what I do I go to other places where they're not going to ask you, when was your last eye exam? How old is your prescription? I go my prescription. I know what it is by heart. I put it into the thing, get my glasses, and then I'm good. Okay, and I just pay. And it's so much cheaper. I don't have to go through insurance to get these things. When I had my eye surgery, I paid cash $600 to get that laser removed. I ain't had no insurance. I paid out of my pocket. This was way back in the day, though. But I paid with my own money I had in my pocket. That made more sense. Especially since at the time I was pretty young and healthy. It was only my eye that was a problem. Now, as you get to be 1,000 years old, it's a little bit different. But what do y'all think? Do y'all think that insurance is worth it, really? Like all these plans, you think it's worth it? Or should you get a plan to cover, like if you got some kind of, you got a appendix or something crazy like that? What, just regular things that you would get, blood work, eye exam, little ticky-tack things, I think that should be a cash option, and you really shouldn't even be worried about insurance for that. You know, and matter of fact, to go see your primary care physician, I have a subscription with the actual doctor. So it's a small practice, and I pay them for, it's like $75 a month.
Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Okay, I need lab work.
Hope you enjoy.
I want to get a checkup, whatever. I could just go in there and get it. Okay, I could just, I call them, schedule my appointment, go in there, and I get seen. I don't got to worry about Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't got to worry about nothing. I just go in there. I'm already paid. Go sit down, get my stuff done, and be on my way. Very simple. That should be the way that I think we go forward in this country, because all the things they want to try to do, all this crazy expensive health insurance, doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. Now, this video is about how our food system.
How you doing, Mom and Joe?
People don't really want to buy the
Thanks for
food
stopping by.
They want to buy the unhealthy food. European. Okay, let's watch some of this. Somebody say 80 a month for that. Yep, there we go. That's right. You got it, River Spirit. 80 a month. Yep. Keep my expenses low. Make good financial decisions, and you have a better chance of being comfy in the society. But again, here's about the food system. Okay, over in Europe, how's their food compared to us in the U.S.?
European food is not actually healthier than the US. The truth is we have both the best and the worst food in the world. Contrary to popular perception, the US actually ranks remarkably high in food quality and safety metrics. We have exceptional access to premium food quality options, but there's also a stark paradox. Despite this quality infrastructure, ultra-processed foods compose an estimated 58 to 73% of the US food supply, and the cheap, accessible, fun foods are what's winning out right now, because that 27% is
It was about the ICE Asian shooting.
Food system and become the new normal that doesn't exist.
And now he's talking about how the food is bad.
Isn't fundamentally about access to quality food. It's culture and economic. Differences are also partially regulatory, as Europe employs the precautionary principle, requiring manufacturers to prove safety before approval, while the US uses a proof of harm model, allowing ingredients unless subsequently proven dangerous. This is contributing to some egregious choices in our food supply, but we also have incredible access to some super high quality local farms. European food is not.
Exactly. It's more choices. Now, some say that there's too many choices, but then we get into kind of a dangerous territory, right? Where you say, oh, there's too many choices. Let's just eliminate one of the choices. Let's just have one choice, state choice. Let's not do that. I think there should be regulations on what is allowed to be called food, because you don't want things that are just totally harmful. And if there aren't any regulations on what we call food, then there should at least be regulations what you can buy if you have government benefits. Okay, you got food stamps or whatever, you shouldn't be able to buy all the bad food, all the highly processed sugar, all of that. You shouldn't really be able to buy that with your food stamps. So if you got your own money and you want to have a Dorito bath in your house, to knock yourself out. It's not very healthy for you, but knock yourself out. And also, that's a good way to cut down on expenses for your healthcare. Okay, try having a decent diet. I'm not saying you got to be like me and my diet, which is like really, really strict, like a monk. You don't got to do all that, but you want to have a good way to take care of yourself, because if you don't, then you're going to really incur a lot of costs when it comes to the healthcare system. That's kind of what's going on. Yeah, we are a fat nation, but a lot of that comes with the territory. We have a lot of freedom, a lot of choice, a lot of options, a lot of money. And even our poor people have a lot of money. Even our poor people are rich in many ways. They have access to food that you would not have access to if you were a poor person in other parts of the country. Again, back to Venezuela, going full circle. Like I was saying, at one point, they were breaking in the zoo to eat the zoo animals. The people here aren't going to do that because there's so much food readily available for free, basically. Well, taxpayer got to pay for it, but they don't have to pay for it. They get so much food all the time, they're never going to be small or starving. They're going to be big backs a lot of the time. It's kind of how that goes. All right. Let me see. But also with European food, as I'm right here right now. Also
Thank you.
The quality in general is different. But we have a lot of high quality stuff here. But the options they have generally are higher quality for the most part. They have fewer bad quality options. All right. Guy Smiley says, I pick out 1 meal a day, always meat and fat. Hey man, 1 meal a day that's the way to be. You know, one ingredient, not a lot of processed food, that's the way to be, for sure. So Squirm says, I choose to eat light tacos, not tortas. Female Casey Royal fan says, I shredded my own blocks of cheese for it. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Steven Sykes says, I made a homemade meal last night. Shout out to you. That's what I'm talking about. Love the homemade meals, the home cooked meals. I love it. That's what I like. Oh, I have one more video, and then I'm going to get to the calls and super chats. Real? This is going to be an Aldi budget haul, all organic. Well, it's going to be an Aldi budget haul of all good food, quality food for under $100. Okay? Now, let's see what he gets here. Is it going to be organic? I don't know. It may or may not be. But let's watch.
Real food budget grocery haul at Aldi's for under $100. Let's go. We're leaving the $2 eggs alone. You can get pasture raised for under $5. Dirt cheap, organic white jasmine rice, under $5. Next up, we got Nature's Electrolyte Drink, organic coconut water, $7.50. You guys know the drill. We're going with organic avocados for under $4. If you're really pinching pennies, they have non-organic avocados for under $3. They're in the clean 15, so they're not sprayed with a lot of pesticides. Still a good option. Next up, organic coconut oil, under $5. Extremely versatile. They have a decent selection of frozen fruit. We're going with organic blueberries for $6. Next up, they even have wild caught pink salmon. We're going with the 2-pound family pack, $10.
Now, let's pause. I would not get wild caught salmon in the bag like that because what you're going to find out is if you look in the bag and see where it comes from, China or somewhere. Anytime they got fish in the bag, I get my fish straight from fresh produce. And if it's in some kind of container already, I want it to be transparent so I can see it. Is there any kind of creepy crawlies in there? I want to see that before I get it. So avoid salmon in the bag. But even if you get it in a container already or fresh, it's not going to break the bank. It'll still be a good thing to get.
Pound family pack, $10. You guys know it was coming. 100% organic grass-fed ground beef, $6.50 a pound. They have a solid selection of organic fruit. We have organic raspberries here, organic bananas, and then the golden kiwis aren't organic, but you can either not eat the skin or you can just soak them in baking soda. We're going with grass-fed butter for $4. Sweet potatoes loaded with beta-carotene, 65 cents a pound. And lastly, I know a lot of you could be in a rush, so we're going with some Chomps beef sticks, grass-fed, grass-finished for $7. Now, is this the highest quality food you could buy? No, but this is a ton of food for under $100, and it shows us there is zero excuse not to eat healthy.
There we go. Let's see the cart right quick. Let's see the cart. Hold on.
100.
All right, and there we go. That's a pretty good cart for under $100. Yeah, that's pretty good. So for you guys who are looking at this cart, how long would this last you? I'm seeing we got 3 containers of beef, ground beef. We got coconut water. We got 2 bags of strawberries, a bag of pink salmon, 2 cartons of eggs, avocado, banana, coconut oil, I believe, blueberries, potatoes. How long would this cart last you? And again, under $100. How much was that fast food at the place? $15? I think this is a much better value than going to spend $15 so you get to $100 at a fast food place. What do y'all think? Week and a half, 3 days, 3 days? Man, what you like, 300 pounds? Well, you might got kids or something like that, so I'm not, I don't want to judge. 1 week, fresh produce spoils. Well, I mean, it ain't gonna spoil that quick. If you got, I could keep salmon in the fridge for about 3 days without it going bad. Maybe even 4 days if I'm pushing it. It ain't gonna go bad that quick. For just one person, maybe a week. Vegetables aren't filling. If you're eating enough, if you're consuming enough calories, you're gonna be fine. It shouldn't even really be about what the actual food is. 8 to 10 days, 2 days max. It's about more protein. I love when I can. Okay, but yeah, for me, I would say for that, that's definitely a week, easy a week for sure. But I'm not really, probably longer than that. Probably maybe like 10 days. Yeah, 10 days. Definitely. I can most certainly stretch that, especially with the beef. You could do a lot with the beef. That's pretty versatile. You could do spaghetti. You could do meatloaf. You could do a lot of different things that have soup, pasta, everything. You could put the ground beef in. But anyway, somebody said it, toilet emoji. You guys are funny. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all the good stuff tremendously. Okay, we got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Thank you to Patrick McAdams for your super chat with the cup of Joe. Thank you to Jeff with the running emoji. Thank you to Angus for the super chat. That's 1776. I appreciate that. Thank you to Apple who says, ABL, your compilation videos, Venezuelan people's reactions were awe-inspiring, joyful, and helpful. You're so funny too, Uncle Bum, and Sir Drinks a Lot. Yeah, man, I was just talking about him just freestyling. I'm looking at him like, okay, this guy's a bum. And he probably been drinking too. Probably drunk right now. So I'm like, okay, Uncle Bum, and then Sir Drinks a Lot. I don't know where that came from. That was just straight freestyle, top of the head. All right.
Gosh, I've sort of missed her. Haven't you? I mean, Letitia James, where have you been, honey, in the news cycle? So much going on. We hadn't heard anything about Letitia James until, well, just about now. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Trish Regan. Yeah, Letitia James is back in the news because the feds are launching some kind of investigation. According to the New York Times, an investigation, as well as CBS News also reporting this, a federal investigation into her campaign finance. Apparently, they think there might be something funny going on with the hairdresser. We are all over this here today. New allegations about Letitia James that are being probed. Meanwhile, I mean, we got the left kind of exploding, if you would, all over the country, in blue cities all over the country. And I'm not, justifying anything that happened. Obviously, this is a tremendous tragedy in Minneapolis and the 2 shootings that we saw in Portland. Huge, huge tragedy. But I am going to say that they are taking this, they are seizing the moment in a way that, frankly, is not healthy for the country. And I would argue is bordering on complete bedlam and a kind of civil war, if you would. Denmark, meanwhile, oh my goodness, watch out, watch out, watch out. Looks like Greenland may just get an offer it can't refuse. And I mean, it really can't refuse. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Trish Regan. Good to have you here. Make sure you subscribe, share, like. It's really important. Make a comment, both here in the live chat and after, if you're watching the replay. Make it down below. I see everything. Believe me. Okay, Letitia James. Like I said, I mean, I kind of missed her. Dare I say, where's she been lately, right? Well, Letitia James is back in the news, and apparently the feds aren't giving up here. They're looking at her right now, because they think there may possibly be, I want to be really careful, nothing has been, in fact, implied or suggested just yet, but they are looking at the hairdresser, because the hairdresser apparently was getting a lot of money from the campaign. And apparently it wasn't all for hair. Apparently she was an event planner as well. Well, the hairdresser has quite a interesting situation and quite the hair. You'd think with all that hair, she could do a little bit of a better job on Tissue Babe, right? I'll never get this right. Lysada? Lysata Marsh has known Ms. James, apparently, according to the New York Times. Lysata Marsh, Ms. Marsh, we'll go with that. The hairdresser has known her for years. And last month, per the New York Times, Ms. Marsh was indicted in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Louisiana and charged with bank fraud and aggravated identity theft. Wow, what a gal. I mean, the teacher only hires the best, right? Theft in connection with the purchase of a Land Rover about 3 years ago. Court documents accuse Ms. Marsh and her nephew of using the identity and personal information of an unidentified woman out in Ohio to buy the new vehicle. Ooh, okay, so the investigation, and they're calling it an investigation, is in its early stages, but prosecutors are interested in talking to Ms. Marsh. The New York Times reports about past financial transactions of Ms. James or her campaign. And this is according to people familiar with the situation who spoke to the New York.
Thank you guys for stopping by, watching the channel and everything with me. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe. I'll be back again with some more stuff to share. Thank you guys for your chats. Everything. Thank you.